party, going, "Okay, everyone out. Put your beers away." Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like the janitor showing up.
yeah, that'd be great.
Streams up. Nobody say any phone
All
numbers.
right.
Yep.
My number is 555 234 4234. Don't worry, 555 is a fake area code.
Okay. All right. So this is private to you, Elise. I'm going to say it to everyone here because they won't be able to see it. But this is yours. I'm
Oh
putting it.
God. Oh frick.
Ah, shit. I'll swear enough for
Secrets
everybody.
already.
Yeah, Chris, just to let you know, you have a map up right now. It's not your actual
Oh, thanks.
Tailspire.
Thank you. That is actually strange. Actually, what the hell? Hold on.
Yeah.
I do.
It actually looks like it's above.
It's yeah, it is. It's a
Stream.
Faerun. That's interesting. It must be that. Yep, it is that. Okay.
Yep. Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. Nope. Yep.
Yeah. No, I turned it off. Yep. Cool. You'll see it in a second. It's turned off now.
Mhm.
All right.
One day, Tailspire will let us upload our own Hero Forge minis. It's not today, but one day.
Mm,
No, obviously the solution here is to download a 3D modeling program and learn how to make your own minis and become a professional 3D modeler, but only for making minis and Tailspire for your character specifically.
Eventually that'll happen. I mean, eventually Tailspire will have something. That they have a thing called Tailweaver, which is going to allow people to make their own minis. The problem is that they're running into like basically their entire. I mean, they're a small company, but their lawyer, who's part of their country, is basically saying that they can't do it like in any capacity. So they're trying to figure
keep in
that out.
mind you're on stream now too, though.
Yeah, that's true. But the reality is that yeah, there's a legal thing going on there because like people can make Mario and stuff like that, and they can't stop it, and it's hard to moderate that, especially when thousands of people are going to be doing this. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But
I'm sure they'll figure it out as soon as we go back to playing in person.
yeah, yeah. But I've heard that that's the idea. The idea is that with Tailweaver or whatever, you will be able to do your own eventually. You'll be able to use like Blender and other stuff, and then you'll be able to import those things. And even if they let a modding line go through, like even if it's just a like DLL injection modding, then you'll be able to do it no matter what. It's just they'll have to wipe their hands of it, and that's the thing that's unfortunate. If they have to wipe their hands with it, it's just not going to be that easy, and that's where it could, you know. But we'll see. We will see.
Also, did we want to check out that bedroom before we head out? I know that there was one room we didn't check out when we split up.
Yeah, we should check that before we leave.
Okay, and let's do a quick recap and then we'll start officially.
I can do the recap, I
Oh,
suppose.
awesome! Thank you.
All right,
Yeah, that's
so last session we had sorry, Keanu. I just want to make sure I'm saying
Kino.
everything right. Kino asking
Quinoa.
Keynote
Keanu
speaker.
Reeves.
Keynote speaker.
Okay, asking Vincantio a few questions, but was quickly interrupted when Grin, using his danger sense, detected a slight shift in the cabin, and the main room began to violently fly throughout space-time. The group fled to the safety of the back rooms, taking a large amount of damage doing so, and they came into contact with many other planes. Once in the hallway, Johnny dashed out to touch his rod to the Summer Star, but was quickly eviscerated, then reforming and teleporting away, leaving his possessions behind. After the group talked to the ghost of Macretus, Grin also ran to the room to retrieve the broken Summer Star and was able to use his reckless endurance to maintain consciousness as he was bombarded with radiant magical heat from the malfunctioning artifact. Grin and Kino witnessed two of the Chaos Gods, and Abel used the Modron to fix the Summer Star. Upon its completion, Macretus was revived, along with a mysterious orange and black kobold named Elda. After some conversation surrounding Vin's possession of a ring of non-detection, we won over Macretus' trust by telling him all about the Torchbearers' encounters with the Arcane Brotherhood, the Book of Vile Darkness, and the evil body doubles, and the Elminster. He took a blood sample from Grin with the intention to scry on the other group, and we ended with a decision to head back to Bryn Shadar after a long discussion about trust with Finn.
Great, thank you. Macretus does tell everyone farewell. I know you wanted to ask him a question before he left, Kano, and I'll allow
Yes.
that if you want to. Go for it.
Yes, I think it got sort of lost in the discussion last time. I was just going to ask you, what do you know about the Chaos Gods?
He said, this is a very complex conversation. He said, I will have it with you because I think it deserves to be had with people who are at least capable and powerful like yourselves. But he said, while I was in my purgatory, which felt like years to me, these beings, the ones that I named to you, they let themselves be known to me. And I have a bad feeling that he said, are you familiar with the prophecies of Candlekeep?
I know of Candlekeep, but I don't know the prophecies.
He said, well, one of the reasons why Candlekeep became so famous were prophecies that happened 1200, 1300, 1,000 years ago um, uh, happened to come true. He said, I won't bore you with all of it. He said, but but there was an avowed there, a monk named Alando. Um, and Alando's prophecies became famous because all the way back in 75 DR, he started to write things that would eventually come through. He even prophesized the spell plague. Well, he also prophesized that a great calamity, worse than the time of troubles, would befall Faerun. And the four entities that named themselves to me were in his prophecy. So I have a terrible, 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 terrible feeling that this cryptic prophecy might be coming true.
Okay. All right. So there's Luxes and Tarn. What about the other two?
He said, he said, the four names of the four evil godlike entities are
Nothing bad
Luxes.
happens. Nothing bad happens if you say all of them, right?
He says, to be honest, I don't know anything about them. I just know their essences and their beings, and I got a glimpse of their realms, and it was terrifying and awful. But I'll tell you them. He says, Luxis, Tarn, Myrtle, and Elizenzeep.
Oh boy. How do you spell that last one?
Elzynazeep.
Thank you.
These are all abominations of strong, maybe emotions almost, although to be honest, this is all a guess. Luxi seems to be some kind of malformed god of excess. Tarn is just pure and utter rage, blood, lust, murder. Um, Worse than Ball, as a matter of fact. Myrtle is a weird and maybe folded on itself perverse form of love, because when I saw the realm of Myrtle, it was nothing but disease and decay, but the god himself was jovial and kind. it was terrifying and frightening and disgusting and awful. And then the one that scares me the most, Elizenzeep. It's some kind of god of magic, but the most terrifying, awful, change-based, shifting chaos that I've ever seen. And I'm glad you asked, because honestly, I don't even know who to go to this. That's the reason why I have to leave. That's why we might even need things like the Arcane Brotherhood's help at this point. I might need to gather other orders together. I mean, it would help. Your friend had mentioned the Cloak of Many Stars. I mean, we need as much help as we can get. As a matter of fact, before I learned of everything, I was going to go look for Elminster.
Well, yeah. That's probably not such a good idea. I wouldn't be surprised if the evil one was hiding as the true one.
Well, that's the real problem, is that I have this. So now that we know that this is something out there, and we know that it lines up with the prophecy of Candlekeep, and Elminster himself, second in line to Mistra, is now evil.
Yes.
He said, so you can imagine that's why I need to leave.
Oh, absolutely.
And before, so you can tell that he's about to leave. So you get one more. The whole group can have one more question, but he's got to go.
I'll defer to the group if anyone else needs anything. Copper knows where we're staying in Bryn Shaddar.
Yes. Yep. He said, don't worry. I'll see Copper on my way out too. So I'll let him know that you were able to free me. As a matter of fact, I'll actually send a message, and he shows you what looks like a small copper box, and he opens it. And as he opens it, it starts to glow in it. And he said, look, this is letting every single seeker know behind all 10 towns of 10 towns that I have completed my objective. So in any town that you go to now, they will know that at the very least, what I told them I was going to do is done. So, and he looks, by the way, he looks over to Abel. He said, did you decide on a time?
Yeah, I believe I said
2.
2.
Yep.
2.
He said, okay,
Yeah.
so as soon as I leave, walk outside, go ahead and align the rings up and release the device, and we'll set it up. And he goes and looks at the device as well, and he shows you the actual outer rings. Every single ring is actually a timepiece, so he shows you how to set it to 2 o'clock to get it up, and he sets that all up for you.
Okay.
Yep. He says, so I'm off. Good luck to everyone. I hope there's still a Faerun, and we can talk about this and laugh about it later. He said, but I must hurry. And he opens his door, and he does leave, and you guys see that he casts gate. He doesn't teleport out, and he walks through it, and he vanishes. And at this point, by the way, Venny says that he's going to go back to 10 Towns on his own, so he leaves, and you guys are here.
Oh, we really fucked that guy's day up, huh? Meaning, Macretus.
Well, we've accomplished some great tasks today. I think not all has been lost.
I think we more than made up for it in what we helped him with.
I mean, you did resurrect both him and I.
Also,
I
hello.
think.
I mean,
Hello.
Yeah. So
Uh,
you said your name was Elda, correct? And I sort of get down on one knee to sort of greet you.
oh, yes, that
How
is.
not to
I
talk to
am
short
quite
people.
small.
I pick her up.
Oh gosh.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
What's
that's
the
my
question
job.
again? What was the question again? Sorry.
So, by the way, the pseudo dragon telepathically talks to you, and she says, Henri, why is there a dragon? What is a dragon? What is this dragon person?
Well, let's let her introduce herself.
And she says, but she's not a real dragon. Attack her.
I think that she might be a friend. Let's not
No.
attack her.
She says, no, she's probably gonna bite me when I go to sleep.
I won't let
And-
her bite you. I will absolutely not let that happen.
The pseudo dragon allows you to also hear all this. She can, when you talk telepathically, the pseudo dragon allows the kobold to hear this as well. And by the way, you would know this. You would know from your background. You would definitely know this. Pseudo dragons are incredibly rare. Not actual dragons. And very, 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 very racist to other not actual dragons in the sense that the pseudo dragons believe they're dragons and look down on everything else that's not real dragons. And the irony is that they're not real dragons. Um, and it's just something that you would have known. You've seen one pseudo dragon in your entire life, down where you were. So this is something that you're kind of relatively like aware of. So
Don't worry, I do not bite anyone. It is rather unpleasant. Um, as far as I can remember, my memories are still coming back to me. I was up here to gather some information, as I think I was working as a archaeologist of sorts. But well, then I got let's say sidetracked here.
Getting sidetracked is our specialty.
Yes. Well, that would seem to be the case based on what I saw earlier. But I don't know. You all seem like a decent lot.
That's
Did I
because you
give
just
you
met
my
us.
Did I give you my
True.
physical description,
And
by the
I
way?
don't no, and I don't really remember anything about anybody else too much. So you're kind of my basis for my entire worldview right now. Hopefully that comes back to me. I really hope that comes back to me.
How did
Based on that, I
happen?
hope so too.
Yes, we're sorry about all of what just happened.
No, things happen. It's just how things are. Um, yeah. I think I might have introduced myself when I was dead, but yeah, I am Elda. It is nice to meet you all.
Well,
I am
I'm
Mabel.
Kino,
So,
I'm Grin.
and I pull off my helmet, and you see I'm a tall, armored, high elf, standing a little over 6 feet tall, with fairly standard Neverwinter military plate, female fit, but the edges of the armor have been warped and buckled, and kind of making it look a little more ominous. She has a long blue cloak pinned to her back and below her elbows, uh, and she has this billowing, huge Yeti fur-lined coat. Uh, at her side, um, you see she has a shield that's covered up by her cloak, and you see she's got this stern but young face of a high elf woman, and she has sort of covered up by this purple halo, very faint, almost like black war paint around her eyes, painted over high cheekbones and across the bridge of her nose. And you can see the halo is actually giving off this like fluorescent purple light, uh, sort of sitting at eyebrow height, that reflects off of her wide eyes, making them almost look like they glow the same shade of purple.
yeah, if everyone else can also describe their character.
Mabel's probably a roughly similar height. Uh, Face kind of buried behind a high cowl and big helmet. Uh, Lots of tools strapped on to scale mail. A lot of the scales are of sort of exotic finishes and different metals. Some of it even like covered with glass and different tints and stuff. He's got a big, massive, sort of strange material made sword on his back, along with a shield and spear, and he's got a large automated like soldier basically standing next to him, and the same Yeti cloak as well. He's got either no nose or small nose. It's a little hard to tell in the armor. And bluish skin.
Tom, you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, Grin is a half orc, pretty obviously. His skin is a pale green. He's about 6 feet 2 inches tall. He's got the tusks. He's wielding a glaive that's a little bit taller than he is. He's wearing half plate. He's wearing a half plate chest piece over what looks like a sleeveless shirt. Not at all, you know, dressed for the climate they're in. He also looks a little bit like Robin Williams at the beginning of Jumanji, just hair all over. He also has horns
Yep.
for unknown reasons.
Right.
Yep. He has small horns protruding from his forehead. Brother.
You have to sort of look up a little bit as the 7 foot tall, sort of on the skinnier sides, walking suit of armor just sort of peers down at you. There's no expression on the face. The eyes glow a faint blue. And he's pretty much covered from head to toe in sort of heavy linen robes, baggy pants, leather, boots on, covering up his feet, and currently just wraps around his three-digited hands, and just all sort of clerical garb out and around him, and holding a huge pack on his back.
You also see a small golden pseudo dragon on Henri's shoulder. It's got a kind of like a haughty, almost arrogant flair to it. At the same time, it's very childlike. You can tell that it's on the younger side, but its scales actually do gleam actual metallic gold.
See, I was picturing her still being tucked in my jacket.
Oh, I thought she was out, Henri. I thought
I
you
feel
said
like
last
she's
session she
poking.
was out.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
you may have mentioned that she climbed out, but this whole time I was picturing her still like tucked in my jacket, but she may have been out because we've been in the house.
Yeah, and I honestly think she would have been out to look at the kobold too.
Okay.
So, yeah, but yeah, but that's fair. Only half of her body is probably out. She's still tucked under it because she is scared of everything. So, it's just that she's very interested in the kobold. She also telepathically tells this to you, but she does not tell the kobold this. She says, "If it gets close to me like it's gonna bite me, don't worry, I'll sting it."
No, don't sting it. That only puts you in danger, and I don't want anything to happen to you.
She said, "Okay, yeah," but anyway, so you guys do notice that the cabin is pretty actually cold. Like it's now that whatever magic is dropped out of this place from the ceiling, there are small little like holes and gaps in the ceiling itself. You start to notice, and the temperature has dropped kind of substantially in the cabin. It's getting pretty cold. Obviously, outside will be colder, but the temperature's dropped at least a good 20 degrees.
All right. Do we want to check the bedroom?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, so you guys go into the bedroom here.
Mhm.
Do you want to just make perception checks or investigation?
I'll aid someone investigation.
Um, yeah. Sure.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for me. It's only going to take 5 minutes to go through the whole room, so go
I
ahead.
think I kind of peered in there before when I had what do you call it up detect magic as well.
Yeah. So there is nothing in this room that's glowing with detect magic anyway. So, but you can still do an investigation check. So
Yeah, just looking for like notes or any like bizarre items or hidden places, boxes, chests.
Actually, you know what? I should roll again. I have advantage, right?
you do have advantage. Yeah.
It's not going to be a good night.
Why is that?
I rolled a 5.
Oh, solid, consistent. 23 is meant to be.
23. Okay. All right. So you walk through, and the only thing that you find in here that's of any kind of note is there's some small scribbles from a note in this bookcase here. By the way, the books are just books on survival in the North. It would take a long time to read these, Henri. You could take them if you wanted to, but they're kind of technical manuals on like ice fishing and other things like that, and they're very wordy. There's 4 of them. The other thing that you note though is there is like a scribbled piece of paper that goes through a bunch of different locations in the north on your map. As a matter of fact, does everyone have the map? I'm
Oh
gonna
shit,
bring it.
that's right. But also,
Yeah.
I do want to take those books.
Okay, that's fine. You can take them. Yep. Yep. So they are long. They're all over 500 pages each, and when you start thumbing through them, they're very technical on things like ice fishing and survival in the north. But
Okay.
could be useful if you have the time to read them. So, all right.
Would you mind if I see one of those? It could be decent for passing the time.
Sure.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
And then let's go through.
Also, I'm very glad that we took out whatever was in the bottom corner of the board, and now we just immediately go to the map.
Yeah, we fixed
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's good. Awesome. Good, good, good.
At least, do you have the concept board link?
I do not.
I can actually, can someone else link it?
Yep.
For some reason it's not letting me. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. I do have it up now though. Yep. So one of the things that's scribbled on this very very crude map, but also this must have been from Recruitus's work, but he basically points to a mountain range.
Oh, sorry, Chris. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. What was the password for the concept board again?
Oh, it's
Don't.
ice. It's Icewind Dale 278 exclamation, I believe, and it's a capital I capital D. Yeah, I forgot there was a password. It's but I believe it's Icewind Dale 278 exclamation.
Are we good to leave that in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. No, it should be fine. I mean, there is a possibility that someone could like watch this and fuck
I
with the
think they
map,
would
but
still need the link.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Would it be possible for that password just get messaged to me? I'm not sure about capitals and spaces.
Yeah, and I hope that's correct actually, but let me just double check. Hold on. Let me see.
Thank you.
I think I can even invite you. That's why I'm looking at this, and you can get it without a link. So, hold on one second. Actually, did can you message me your email, and then I'll just put it in here, and then I'll give you direct
I
access.
I was typing it to you as you were saying that.
Awesome, cool, yeah. So
I like
I'll
the
give it to you that
frozen
way.
option.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. All right. Yeah. Let me send this to you now. I believe this bypasses the password, so.
Perfect. In the meantime, I'll ask the party. So, I know that traveling with a kobold may be problematic. Would you rather I look like something else?
I mean, do whatever you want, but
You can't be more
I,
problematic than me.
or me.
Cancel.
Yeah.
I
Do
more
we?
meant, if you want, I can look like a gnome or something. It wouldn't
No,
be
no,
permanent, but
do not.
all
Don't
right.
look like a gnome around this one. I point to Grin. Careful.
That's not.
All right. I'll just stay as myself then for now.
Yeah.
Be true to
Chris,
yourself.
Yeah, be
Chris,
yourself.
do we think traveling with a kobold is going to be like a problem?
No, not necessarily. I mean, traveling with a drow would be a problem. Traveling with a kobold, no more than your problem, Gren, to be honest. So not truly. The only thing is that some people, especially up in the north, are so stupid, literally so dumb, that they might think that he is a goblin, and that is a problem. But
Gee,
but that's the only time, and you guys can explain that away, but that there you could run into situations where they think that he's a random monster like
gee.
a goblin or something else, and so yeah, that could be the case. But
That's all right.
Just
We're
just for
running with a warforged.
just for future
You'll be fine.
clarification, it's she. Sorry.
yeah.
We're running with a warforged. Don't worry about people swinging at you. She says in Draconic.
We can also put you in one of our backpacks.
I'd honestly fit. I only weigh something like 25 pounds. I'm like a little over 2 feet tall. I'd probably fit.
I have a free backpack space if you care to sit
I,
in it.
I, I, if, I guess.
I sit in Grin's backpack.
I guess we can be backpack buddies then. And,
Yes.
Yay.
High five.
All right.
Just watch out for her shield.
So,
Yeah.
so Abel, one of the things
Yes.
that you do find in this, that where you figured out where it is on the map, and I've just put it on the map so you can see it. But there's a little scribble where my little like blue dot is on the mountain range there, and where my mouse is, and all it says is Dwarven Fortress.
Okay.
Jeez.
Ooh, yeah, definitely make a note of that.
I will, put that in our note on our mention it to our note, point it out where it is on our map.
Sure. But yeah, you will only have that problem, by the way, within Icewind Dale and within some of the other dales in general, ones that have never ever seen things like kobolds before because they've never seen things like goblins before. So they can like mix them up essentially. So
I don't seem to have gotten that link yet, by the way.
oh, interesting. Hold on, let me see.
I did post the password in the Dice Rolls chat.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, try that. Yeah.
Kino asks Elda, so how long were you out for? Might I ask?
I honestly don't know.
Do you,
Time
hmm,
doesn't
Yeah,
have
that
much
makes sense.
meaning when you're inside a cabin with, well, yeah, you lose a sense of time.
That's fair. If any memory comes back to you, please let us know. I'm very interested to hear where and when you were from.
Well, I'll be sure to let you know. Thank you.
Anytime.
What year do you remember it being?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, Chris. I did not plan this ahead. What
No,
year
it's
could
okay. No, it's the current year. You're on the same timeline. You're on the same
Okay.
exact
I remember it being current year.
Insert
All right.
current year.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well that's promising.
Yeah, that's a good sign for me.
The last month you remember is February. Their version of February, which I will get you guys. Hold on. I don't know if anybody has it up or not, but
I just had it up.
yeah. Um, but uh, but other than that, I mean, it's not like you're from 100 years ago. You're in the 1495 DR timeline. So
When did we get out of the tomb? That was only a couple weeks ago, correct?
So the you got out of the tomb. We fast forwarded that a bit. Remember, so you got out of the tomb in October, and by the time you went to Luskin, we fast forwarded that to November, like late November. So
Okay.
it has only been a couple weeks, but we fast forwarded it by like 3. So it's been like almost 2 months at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, a month and a half, almost 2 months. Yeah. And that was with travel time and also us just fast forwarding it because in game time
Yeah.
it's only been like maybe a week or so, and this is just hand waving that a bit. But yeah,
All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to gauge what a few things that would have happened that may or may not have affected kobolds.
yep. The reason why that time is important, though, it is important that we've gone ahead 2 months, so that's why I'm giving it to you guys. But yeah, but I looked back. We've only actually played in game time, like the whole time we've been playing. It's only been, I think, 8-9 days, I think, total.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's been a busy 9 days.
yeah,
Boy, has it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Feels like months.
yeah.
You sure it's
But-
only been 9 days? I thought we did at least 2 weeks in the tomb.
Well, see, that the problem is when you guys got out of the tomb, when you went out of the tomb, it messed up the whole like timeline. But when you look at how many days you rested in the Tomb of Horrors, like when you go back and look at the actual things, there you only rested for 6. There was only 6 rests the entire tomb, and a matter of fact, 2 of them are murky. So that's only 4 days theoretically. So even though there was a little bit of like time differentiation, but yeah. Yeah, I was surprised too when I looked back. There were lots of sessions, so I was really surprised. But again, so you had you at least had 7 long rests. I mean 6 long rests because you were level 6. But then I looked back and I was like, what? It's a way less than I thought. So
So
anyway, you
what-
were you remember it. You remember it as Altirak, which is our form of February. So it's the second month.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
okay,
Yeah.
so you were out for about 10 months
Yeah,
by the sounds of it.
that's a little bit of time, but not as bad as it could have
Yeah.
been, I suppose.
Yeah, a lot's happened since then, as you
I
just heard.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to know anymore, but I have a feeling I'm gonna find out regardless.
Well, feel free. We have answers if you have questions.
For now, it's probably best if I just go along for the ride. I guess literally in this case.
Yes.
All right, so you guys want to venture back into Bryn Shaddar and face the blizzard?
I
Yeah.
thought we were teleporting back.
Are we teleporting?
Yeah.
Is that
Yep.
how
Well, at this
dangerous
point,
is that in the
what time
blizzard?
is it now?
I mean, I'm going to try to do it in a
it's-
clear spot where we should probably be ready to fall a little bit.
It's late,
kind of
so it's
that.
yeah, it's pushing like 10 o'clock. It's definitely late. Although to be fair to you guys, it looks pretty much the same outside. Like when you go out, it's darker, but not too much. It's always an inconsistent form of twilight here. So
I mean, I'm kind of beat up. I at least need to rest a little before we get jumping out of here. But
I think it might be a good idea to take our evening's rest here, then leave in the morning.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fine by me. You guys seemed like in a hurry last time.
yeah, and there are definitely beds here, and it's obviously way better sleeping in here than it would be outside. So
Yeah, I'm down
Okay,
for that.
let's
I'm
rest here
pretty
then.
badly hurt.
Yeah. You're probably the worst of us.
The one thing is the teleport resets after a rest, so maybe do it. Just keep that in mind.
Well, if something goes wrong and we all take a little bit of damage, I'm worried about Grin either being separated or taking that damage. Also, how much teleporting are we gonna do? We could take a rest.
Okay.
We're not gonna get
Just
teleported under
putting-
any like ice, right?
well, hopefully not is the answer. Statistically, probably not. But teleport is always a risky endeavor.
That's
It's
not a
unlikely.
question. It's not a question you want your DM to start laughing at.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in a lot of metal right now. I don't want to be trapped under
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah, teleport is definitely a very convenient thing, especially if you think of how convenient that would be in real life, like in the actual thing. Because walking back in a blizzard sucks. So teleport is why wizards do it. but from a game perspective, statistically, it's not all that safe. I mean, it's safe, but you do it enough, and you are absolutely in for at least one mishap, and they can be pretty deadly. So it just depends.
Yeah.
You get Featherfall way before it.
Well, no, the
Fair
only
reasons.
I mean, I'm a little gun shy of teleportation. The one time I actually went unconscious, I think, was in the statue room, so I'm a little gun shy.
And I don't have my relentless endurance at the moment, so
Okay, if you want to rest the night, we'll rest the night.
Okay. All right. So you guys go ahead and take up stock and go ahead and rest the night. There are enough beds for everyone. Everyone can rest comfortably. Not only that, but the cabin itself is decently defensible in the sense that all the doors shut and everything, so it's relatively safe.
Just
Right.
just for bookkeeping purposes, when I wake up in the morning, should I continue the gloves of thievery, or am I making something else for someone?
Um, I I mean, I wouldn't use them.
that's with my radiant glaive, right? Because I'd like to keep that.
Yep.
Okay.
And I have my boots, so I just want to make certain in the morning. And I think Johnny had the gloves. Is someone else want to use them, or should I make something else in the morning?
Might be worth it to make something else. Also, am I setting up the hut? Just in case?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
probably.
would be a good idea, I think.
Would I have time to cast Find Familiar as a ritual?
Yep. Yes,
Yeah,
you would.
because I'm
I
casting
would
Tiny
do
Hut as
that
a
during
ritual.
that. And
Yep.
to make things more comfortable for the both of us, I'll probably like select some random object and use prestidigitation to make it at least slightly warm, so there's at least a little bit of warmth coming from some random 1 cubic foot of material.
Yep. Do you want to? So if you do cast your ritual and get up your familiar, go ahead and describe it to the group once it's there. Yeah.
Well, it's honestly, there's not too much to it. It's another pseudo dragon. So we have just a
Oh,
little pseudo dragon that is like half. It's only like a little bit smaller than Elda, since Elda's already the tiniest thing ever. So she's just got this tiny little pet pseudo dragon now.
Aw, so cute.
I look at the other pseudo dragon.
Yeah, so go ahead and describe how it looks. So this pseudo dragon has to follow the find familiar thing. So it's got to have the it just has the normal pseudo dragon scales. You get to decide what color
Yeah.
it is, but uh that's why I was waiting for this though. So Henri, your pseudo dragon absolutely utterly hates this with a passion. She absolutely hates this. She knows inherently, by the way, that it is not an actual pseudo dragon, and she constantly bickers to you about this, like all the time, and she thinks that it should die, and that you should both kill it because it's an abomination and it's not nice. But anyway, but go ahead to go ahead and describe your pseudo dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least normally pseudo dragons can only be red, so it would just be
Yep.
a pretty normal red pseudo dragon. Nothing too remarkable about it.
Yep. It does have the stinger. It has short wings. It and yeah, and Henri, it really hates this. So every now and then, even when it's not going to wake you up, but in the morning, it's also going to complain about this as well. So
Fake pseudo dragon. Let's go.
Well,
Got a fake dragon with a fake dragon. That's also fake in itself.
she doesn't know the pseudo dragon doesn't actually know how it's fake. By the way, the pseudo dragon doesn't know that it's a fey spirit, but it knows that it's not real, and it's constantly bothering you about this, Henri. We just have to zone it out.
I'm gonna text you like what I say telepathically to the pseudo dragon.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah.
and as Kina's taking off her armor and sort of unbuckling all the plates, Just gonna watch this real curiously with like a little smile.
Yeah.
And once we sit down, I'm gonna do the thing, Chris.
Okay, perfect. Yep, perfect. All right. Does anyone else want to do anything before you go to bed?
I'm reading as much of the book as I can.
Okay. Yep.
I'll continue with my pushing books and let Z out for a little bit.
Okay.
Grin's gonna do
Also,
some stretches.
Just get the rest.
Yeah. So this is the first time that the pseudo dragon has seen your dragon, I believe. Is that
No.
correct, brother?
No.
Has
The,
it?
the pseudo dragon met Z when she
Oh,
first came through.
yeah. That's right. That's right. That's right. And it already went through that. That's right. Yep. That is correct. Yep.
also, Elda, at some point you see me as I'm taking off the plate armor. I actually remove, like, kind of demagnetize the halo from around my head, and you see that my eyes, they're not only reflecting the light from the halo, but they themselves are glowing.
Yeah.
You got special eyes over there.
Yes, you could say that.
Courtesy of
Neat.
Tiamat, I'm sure.
Excuse me?
Oh, she's a paladin of Tiamat if she didn't tell you.
I'm surprised that didn't happen in the first
You
session,
know-
but
That's
I do a little curtsy.
It's problematic, mostly dangerous.
not probably not the weirdest thing. I have heard a bit about Tiamat being a kobold, but you know,
In Draconic, I ask you, so what have you heard?
oh, you know, things and stuff. I mean, she's not all bad. I mean, she's
You're
a
right.
dragon after all.
She is.
In Draconic, of course.
Yes, and in Draconic, I say, well, have you ever heard of the Draghorn?
Is that like a unicorn dragon or something?
I'll take that as a no.
Chris, I sent you the text.
Okay. And I don't think your character would have heard about it anyway, so kobolds are left out of that. So you would have heard it though. Unfortunately, you were dead, so in this case, you did not get to hear it. But
What
Shame.
is that? I might ask.
Well, in Draconic, I say, well, you. Unfortunately, I think you were not in the realm of the living, but it's a horn.
I see. Well, maybe somebody will come back to me one day. Who knows?
Yes. Hopefully, you get your memories back soon.
Yep. Hopefully, with just a little bit more time. Hopefully, since it doesn't seem like the best thing to have my entire worldview be based on the last few hours.
Yes, and I assure you, even though I worship Tiamat, I trust me, I'm one of the good ones. I'm not gonna, murder you in your sleep. I'm not gonna, you know, do all that. I'm, you see what I'm about here. I'm about for the greater good.
And I guess in common, Elbow will ask, kind of to the group as a whole. So, if she is a paladin of Tiamat, are the rest of you also?
Oh no, I'm a cleric of Bahamut.
Yeah,
Wait, but
I
wait,
know,
and
it's
you're,
complicated.
but you're.
Don't try to think about it too much.
I think that's probably for the best. I mean, I guess
I mean,
even though
I'm
they have
far more
conflicts.
complicated than I look.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I would hate to destroy any of the Undying Queen's work by, tearing him apart. So,
Yes, a follower of Tiamat led to the genocide of my entire race, and we were imprisoned in these wonderful constructed bodies and bound to slavery for sale to fight the world's wars.
yeah, but they're pretty, in, you know, enduring. And I kind of tap on brother's shoulder.
It tings. I just pointed over to Z, who's probably stretching her wings around. And was like, I used to be like that.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah, it's basically like a small dragon the size of a cat that sort of looks like a butterfly almost.
that when you wake up, Kino, the knowledge that you have, to be very, very clear, could only come from one person. You think, and it you can count that as like an answer. Outside of everything else, you at least know that there's some kind of like listening there, obviously.
Sorry, I dropped out for like the last 5 minutes. Anything important that Abel would need to know?
No, we're just telling Elda about me following Tiamat and brother being he used to be one of the prismatic dragons.
Okay. Okay.
Wait, so you were a dragon at some point? That is quite curious.
Oh, and not just any dragon.
Oh, do tell.
Brother.
I was a prismatic dragon, mostly fey, but small for our size.
Not metallic, not chromatic. A little bit of both.
We were a
Fascinating.
mistake in her eyes.
I shrug.
I mean, any dragon's good in my book.
Same.
Chris, I'm gonna turn one of the 15s into a 16.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt the conversation. It's just if I
No,
don't
that's okay.
remember to do it now, then it's gonna.
Yeah. Well, you would have lost it anyway, so it's good. Yep.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make sure I did it when
Yep.
I remembered to do it.
Yep. Good job. Yep.
Yeah, I may not remember much, but I do remember Dragon good.
Dragon
Not all dragons
is
are
good. All dragons good.
Dragon good.
Dragon good. Yes.
Metallic dragon's good. Chromatic bad.
Well, I mean, you're a chromatic dragon. Are you bad?
You've seen the other side of me.
I felt the other side of you. Yes. I remember that whole person. But
Not
it's
what
all
I'm
right.
talking
No hard
about, but
feelings.
you know.
I know.
I suppose that's one nice thing about being not quite a dragon is that I'm not so much caught up in the whole chromatic and metallic ordeal.
Well, yes, you might not be, but you certainly found the group for it.
Just be wary of those who worship the chromatics. They tend to enslave your people.
I mean, do I look like a slaver?
Yes, quite frankly.
Well, you'd be wrong there. I mean,
right.
I'm not even a chromatic dragon.
Is there anything else functional that you guys want to do before you go to bed? So Henri is going to do tiny hut, but is there anything else?
I just checking the OneNote real quick. I think I needed to send a few messages.
Yep.
Do we want to distribute the ring of spell storing and the amulet?
Yeah.
Yes, the amulet of Constitution. Now that
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
now that Macretus is gone, Kino hands it to Grin to attune
Okay.
to.
Yep.
He kind of looks at it.
There you go.
Just make sure to put that in the OneNote.
Does Grin know what it does? I don't remember if like he actually knows.
I actually
No,
look at that.
monotone. Yeah.
Wait. How tough is Grin?
Grin,
What's your constitution?
Grin very tough. Grin toughest. Grin Constitution 16.
Okay. I mean, it'll help him a little, but it might help other people a lot more.
Yeah, I think it should go to someone with a lower Constitution. It would only give me 8 more HP and a slightly higher con.
I mean, if I had to designate
Is
a number,
there anyone who's notably sickly?
I look at Henri.
Yep.
See, like it's funny though because her con is 15.
Oh my God, you have a higher con than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think con and int were my two that I chose for the variant human Or
Yeah.
no, everything gets a +1. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gave Khan my 14, I think. So 15.
I believe it gives you a 19.
Well, that's
It
really
gives
good.
you a 19. It gives you a 19.
So if you've got like a 10, it's awesome.
Right.
I'm 13.
Yeah,
I
it would
had to
help.
designate the number 1 in 20. Kino
It would help
says
Kino more than Honor.
So 13 is our lowest. Who's our lowest?
12. The tiny
Would you want
kobold
the ring?
has no constitution.
Hi, baby.
Does anyone have lower than 12?
No.
What the hell are you doing?
Grin gives it to Elda.
Silly baby.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
what is
does
this?
she want the ring?
Who are we
Of
gonna give
spell-
the amulet of mage armor to?
I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't actually think I can use the amulet of mage armor. So
You can't. You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Does Elder wear armor?
She has basic leather armor.
Probably want on then.
I think even basic leather means mage armor wouldn't work, right?
yeah, it has to be no armor.
That's right. It does
Yeah.
have to be no armor.
So
You have to
Honor's
be
actually
unarmed.
the only one who can use it.
Yep.
And then the ring of spell storing. I know we had a few conversations about who it would best go to, and I do think it's probably either Henri, Abel, or Brother.
Well, I thought Elder was also. Cause warlocks with the puny spells slots.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the just
Oh,
having
for
an extra
putting.
counter spell.
I was gonna say, does anyone, now that we're at the end of the day, does anyone want to pump it full of spells?
You have to attune to it before you
Growth.
can.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
mean, we could still do that in resting. I mean,
It would probably be better. Sorry.
I
Go
could put some shield. I could put some shields in it and then give it to someone else to attune to.
Yeah.
So
So why don't you attune to it tonight?
Well, it depends how long the attunement period is too.
An hour.
Yeah, it's 1 hour.
So we can put shields in it, we can put counter spells in it, and we can give it to Elda just for extra spell slots.
Yeah.
I think those
Or
are our three
absorb
best
elements.
ideas.
Absorb elements too was the other. Yeah.
That's also a good one.
That's a good one.
I could definitely throw like a dimension door into it or something, which is always a good panic button.
That's a great one.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Merry Christmas to Elda. You just got the mother of all.
She just all of a sudden like, oh, I
I feel
thank
like there
you.
was drinking involved. Like
I
Slide all of our magic items down towards
I
the.
guess I'll accept these. But thank you. You're very
Welcome.
generous.
Well, I mean, not many people come back from the dead, so welcome.
Yeah. I guess she'll attune to those and pump a dimension door into the ring of spell storing.
Okay. Yep. So you'll have one more attunement slot.
Is that everything?
I believe so.
Okay. All right.
Well,
So
did you want me, sorry, Chris, not to interrupt. Did you want me to send off a couple of messages before the end of the day? Just trying to, as I'm looking through the OneNote now, we do have a few to lop off.
I think Tyler. Oh. Sorry. Go.
Yeah. There's one thing I would do if I'm sitting down with brother and I'm meditating after I do the thing.
Yep.
Do I see brother's scrapbook?
Brother, I don't think is your scrapbook out, brother?
No, I wouldn't have it out by now. That's usually a overnight project.
All right. But
before he goes to bed, Abel would ask Kino or Brother, anyone else have a shield other than me?
I have a
I mean, I
shield.
do.
Hold up.
Are you able to attune to another item? One of you two?
Yeah. Yes. Well, what does
I
it
can
do?
make your shield magical. It'll make it more protective and allow you to shove people away.
I like being close to people, honestly.
It may work better for Kino. Mine's purely just for defense.
I mean, I'll take it if it's
But
better
that's
as well.
both of it.
Yeah, sure, I'll take it.
In the morning, I'll let me take your shield, and in the morning, I'll give it back to you.
Here you go.
Yes, sir.
And although you see it's a giant, majestic, metal shield with the emblem of a giant curled five-headed dragon on the front of it. Emblazoned on the front in radiant and magical energy. You know who made the shield look like this?
Yes, the
Bah.
person behind it.
Yes, Bahamut gave me this.
Because you were too wimpy to actually draw it on there yourself.
Oh God,
Well, it
there's
was
suddenly
actually
a picture of a
Cormier.
person.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it's for
Picture indeed.
when we wake up.
Oh God.
Oh no, we just wake up just a person staring over all of us somehow.
Luckily, we're in the hut.
Yeah.
Chris, how long has it been since I sent that package to my village?
Not a long time. Not enough time for it to come back or you to get any kind of like response from that. But remember, you did spend the extra money, so you'll know when it gets delivered. They do have
Okay.
to find you though, so there's going to be some
Well,
extra time there. Yeah,
they have to find me to get the rest of their money, so I'm not that concerned about that part.
exactly.
Abel,
Yeah.
Abel, what's the name of the shield?
Propulsion shield. I'm about to put it in
Repul-
chat.
But it's if you get back to Luskin in a month, that'll be a good time to find everything, go through it. If you get back within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's iffy, but we'll roll for it. So all right.
Brother,
Yes, Grin.
your messaging spell. I feel as though it would be a good idea if I could, send a message to my family telling them to watch out for me.
Well, if you can describe them in great detail of what they look like, I might be able
Yeah.
to get in there.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to say. So, brother does explain how this works to you, but the other thing too is that Grin, you need to make a performance check on drawing them because he needs to actually have a real picture of these people on top of this description, and and it's a decently high check to get this to work for sending because he's never met them. So just keep that in
Right.
mind. And you're not an artist, so
I am
it'll
not.
you can try your best. I know it's important to you, so you can try this every day if you want until you get high enough. But it's going to be tough. The DC is high. But go ahead
Does
and
it,
yep.
does anyone have proficiency in like painter's tools that I can describe them to like for aid?
I mean, I could help draw
Um,
it if you want to describe it. I could aid you in drawing it, but I'm not proficient.
Yeah, you have to be. So in order to get the advantage on this, you need to find someone who's an artist or proficient in it, and
Yeah.
then you could totally describe it. Yeah,
I can draw
but yeah, Andre can in real life. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But go ahead and try. Go ahead and make a performance check, and
Okay.
we'll see because it is important to you. So maybe you'll just have the dedication and motivation to do this. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to send the sending
Nope. Nope. Nope.
though. Yeah. So Grin draws a picture, brother. You're not even sure that if it's a man or a woman in that picture, and you're like, I can't use this. Sorry.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. But yeah, as soon as you can do that, he will be able to send a sending. So what you'll do is he needs the picture and then he needs a really good description. You can give him the good description, but it's the picture that matters here. So
oh my.
anyway, so so as you guys wake up, you go ahead and are deciding to make the trek back to Bryn Shaddar. Are you going to teleport, or are you going to try to? It's still a storm outside.
Abel feels confident he can do that, but that means nothing.
Okay. Yeah, of course. So if you guys want to teleport, go ahead and roll your D100, Abel, and get everybody close to you, and we can do that.
I'm aiming like just above the lake at a safe distance,
Yep.
and be ready to fall.
Yep.
Going right above the lake. Why the lake? We teleport outside of town.
Because it's flat, and if we teleport in water, we can fix that. If I teleport into rock, that's bad.
That is
You tele-
right, but the group does remind you, Abel, that there was a rumor about a sea monster in that lake.
It's not a sea monster.
It'd
What
be
are
a,
the odds of me landing out where the sea monster
it'd
is?
be a lake
That's true.
monster.
If there is
Yeah.
something in there, I could try
There's a lake monster.
talking to it, maybe.
Yeah.
As long as it's underwater, I believe I
Loch
can
Ness
communicate with
monster.
things.
All right. So D100, you said?
D100. Yep.
All right.
I'll swim any of you to shore if we get stuck.
Can you get us out from under the ice?
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
Nice.
What'd you roll?
69.
69.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Nice.
that's good. Yeah. So so exactly where were you aiming for? You're right on the shore where the lake is. By the way, it's mostly frozen solid anyway. You're gonna
Yeah,
find that out now.
above the frozen area of the lake. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Just,
All right. So
just off the docks.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So you guys are able to teleport there without much of any incident. No one has to take fall damage or anything. Abel does it just under 5 feet. You do have he tells you to prepare to fall, and you do. And you're within walking distance of Bryn Shaddar. You're right outside Bryn Shaddar. This is where the fisherman's docks are. So when you guys walk in, when you do eventually walk in, the whole town must have been alerted already to your presence, because their guards, which is actually just a militia, and several other people run up to you, and you see this woman come to you as well. This she introduces herself as the speaker of Bryn Shaddar. Her name is Duvessa Shane. She's also, for a speaker, she's relatively young, even though most of you don't really know the ins and outs of what speakers are within it. The one thing you do know is that you have heard that the heads of the 10 towns are all very, very old, and she is not. And she comes to you and she says, "So these are the heroes that we've been waiting for." And she puts her hands together and she says, "Thank you so much for everything that you've done so far for all of us in Icewind Dale."
You're
Look, Chris,
welcome.
the halo is around my eyes, by the way.
Yep, yep, yep.
Which
Do you have, by the way, do you have your shield out, or is it in your thing?
We're walking into town. It is under my cloak.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
fine,
mine's
that's
like
fine.
peeking out from behind her cloak or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, my backpack.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And she ushers you into a larger house, and here we'll take this down and I will show you where you guys are now. So let's go back to Bryn Shaddar. Minor spoilers. Okay. All right. All right. So she ushers you into this building here. All right. It'll catch up in 1 second. All right. So she says the whole town is following you, but she like ushers everyone out because she wants to have a private conversation with you. And she says, thank you so much for finishing Macretus's work. She said, this is a monumentous day. We might even make this a holiday in Bryn Shaddar. she points. She like looks over the group and she says, "Who is the person that released the Summer Star?"
Look at Abel.
I guess that was me. You guys know about that already? It's should be coming up soon.
She said, "So actually, before Macretus was actually bound to do his work, he gave each of us an item, and when that item glowed, we were to know that the Summer Star was completed and released, which means that it must be done." And she shows you, and this is an identical box to what Macretus had, and sure enough, it's open and glowing. And she said, "See."
Ooh.
And she said, and
Wow.
so she says, "Tell me what happened. Why did it take so long?"
Yeah, Macretus kind of didn't have it done right, and I went up there and fixed it, and it works fine now.
She said, "Thank you so much." She said, "It's not obviously this is not the same as Summer returning to Icewind Dale, but this will be an invaluable resource to us." She says, "So when can we expect to see the Summer Star up in the sky?"
Like 2 hours afternoon.
She says, "Wonderful." She says that's a perfect time. She says, "Did you choose that for the fishing cycles?"
It just kind of seemed right. I figured you could set up stuff during the day to be ready to get whatever specific work you need done in the afternoon during that hour and be all ready for it. It just seemed the right time.
She said, "Well, thank you so much." She said, I hate to do this as well, but I was talking to the other speakers, and uh, there seems to be another problem that does seem to be pressing. Um, and if you decide not to investigate or go through this, I completely understand." She said, "But we've been told that there is a fortress out in the snow that might be a Drugar citadel. Recently, for whatever reason, some of our fishermen, some of the, and she explains that it's a band of Goliaths. So there's a Goliath hunting band that she uses to not only weed out the owlbears around this area. It's 30 strong of Goliaths or so. They're pretty vicious barbarians that go through and they do the hunting for Bryn Shaddar. And they also do some like small investigations for them, meaning that like if something happens out in the wild parts of the land, like she'll task them with it. She explains though that they actually came upon this fortress. It's somehow like the facade, the snowy facade part of it is melted, and she says if she said the issue, the reason why I'm bringing this to you though is that um I've actually heard rumors that that people have seen and she says beasts with tentacles for faces and other nightmarish things around that area, and we're worried that this is an ominous sign to much greater dangers. um and not to mention the fact that I don't know if you've seen the folks around here, but I just wouldn't trust. I mean, we thought about sending even the entire militia, and I'm not so sure that they would even come back from something like this. So
Ooh. Would I be familiar with what those are?
Yeah.
yeah, you can. Yeah, you probably would. To be honest, Abel, you
What?
specifically would know that they're probably mind flayers. So don't worry about a check. She's describing to you what you believe are mind flayers.
Oh yeah, they'd be a problem for like most guards. You have a strong mind to deal with them.
She also mentioned that on the outskirts of this citadel, there was a very bizarre shell-shaped structure that had crashed into the side of an icy glacier. And she describes the shell to you and other things. This one you'll have to make a check on though.
Okay. Um, what
I'll lead it.
kind of check?
You can actually make a history check or you can make an arcana check. Either one will work. The arcana check is a much higher DC though, but
Guidance.
And by the way, anyone that hears this can make it. It's just that you have a lower DC on this. Anyone else can make these checks too. It's just a very high DC on this. I'm sure people can guess and without a game what this could be, but
I got a 15, Abel got an 18, Elda got a 14, Henri got an 18, Green got a 10.
all right.
But
So Henri and Abel both guessed that this is some kind of Nautilus. It's basically a ship, a flying ship that the Mind Flayers have been known to use. Which means that there could be incredibly powerful artifacts and other technologies in this thing that would be completely and utterly alien to anything outside. So these are very rare, by the way, Abel. You can explain this to the group. These are like 1 in a million kind of things. Mind flayers just don't really exist above ground hardly anywhere, and even in the Underdark, they're incredibly rare to find. So
Can we go, guys? It's really cool if it's what I think it is.
if we say
They
no,
have
are you
these
going to go
flying
without
things.
us?
Probably not, but I'd want to.
I mean, it's very rare that you show this much interest in a topic, so I'm inclined to say yes.
They have cool things like cooler than Brother is.
yep. So as you guys are talking, a much older man bursts into the cabin. He's a human male. Looks like it looks like he's maybe 90 years old. He's actually, for a 90-year-old man though, not frail in the slightest. He's heavily he's 6 feet tall, and it looks like he's made of pure muscle. You can tell he's 90 because not only is his hair frazzled and graying, but his face has lines as if creased over it. But this is by far the fittest 90-year-old man you've ever seen. As a matter of fact, most of the time in Faerun, people die much earlier, but you can tell he is extraordinarily old by his face. He is in expertly top condition, though. He is in like unbelievable condition for an older gentleman. Anyway, he comes in panting, and he says, "We have a problem." And she turns and she says, "Speaker." And he says, th- he said, we just had scouts come back from East Haven, uh, and sure enough, it's not what we thought it was. This is a Drugar fortress." And she says, "I just," and she explains to them that she had just talked to the group about this or whatever, and they go back and forth. But he explains that they're sure that it's literally a Drugar stronghold, and he believes that they're getting ready for an invasion of 10 towns.
We'll look into it.
Oh. Like, how long have they been preparing that?
He said, he explains to you that he's like, I know a little bit about the Drugar themselves. They are never, ever, ever, ever this far north. But also what's strange is that they're above ground. And he talks much younger than how he appears, by the way. And he says it's just strange to see Drugar out of the Underdark and building a fortress in the side of a mountain up here in the north. But I sent part of my militia in, and he introduces himself, by the way. He says his name is Speaker Area, and he's from East Haven. And they sent their entire militia in. That's why he's so frantic, and they were completely and utterly wiped out. From meta terms, so the militia, he describes the militia a little bit. You guys know they're third level, like basically tribal warriors, essentially. They got completely wiped out.
Chris,
And
the
that
map
for
is short, and I'm handing it to them.
yeah.
Mark down
So
location.
yeah, so 150 of them. Not all of them are third level. They go from some of them are as low as first level, but 150 of them went in, and none of them made it out. So their town is now also completely defenseless, but that's why he's coming. She's going to have to spread some of her militia around to him. They go back and forth in this whole conversation. It's pretty, but they do it in front of you. She does not. She basically does not make you guys leave. She wants you to hear all this, and she wants you to know how dire the situation is. But she, at the end of this conversation, they explain that they are going to send some of the militia of Bryn Shaddar over. So East Haven had the largest army of 150. Keep this in mind. East Haven has the largest army in 10 towns of 150 strong. Bryn Shaddar only has 60 able warriors ready to defend the town, and she's going to send over 25. But this is now incredibly concerning. This shows you the fragility of Icewind Dale in general in the 10 towns, because if East Haven's militia got taken out, it would not be completely, utterly hard to say, like, a force like this to take over all of 10 towns.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end, anyway, the speaker at the end of this, she does say, can we trust that you will look at it? She's like, I hate to ask you this, and she explains to the other speaker that you guys are the heroes that at least set up an hour for them. But he's pretty desperate as well, and they go through it, and they do explain to you that if you go through and you do like pledge to do this, they'll get the other towns together too, and pull together the resources to try to give you some kind of reward for this.
I look around to the group, but it's definitely something we'll be interested in.
Yeah, we can go kill some Dwargar.
And yeah, I not only I want to get the location of the stronghold, I want to get the location of the Nautilus.
Yep. Yeah, of course. So so she goes through and gives you the location of the Nautilus first. Let me put it on the map for you guys. The location of the stronghold does surprisingly match
Mm-hmm.
up to what Mercurius was already investigating.
The dwarf
So you guys
fortress.
do have that. Yep, that's right. He thought it was a dwarven fortress, though. It's clearly a Drugar fortress. The Nautilus, however, is...
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
that's...
I thought it was that big. I was like, damn.
No. That's a mistake. Yeah. Here we go. All right. The Nautilus is pretty close on this ridge here. She marks it down on your map there.
Mhm.
Oh, she also tells you that before the scouts were able to get at least some intel going through it, and the Drogars are calling the Sunblight the fortress.
Sunblight.
Yeah.
Just looking to see if there's anywhere else that we could get marked on the map. Do we have the location of East Haven?
Oh, he'll give it to you if you want it for sure. Here,
I
hold
think
on
we
one
still need
second.
Bryn Shaddar marked as well.
You did have Bryn Shaddar.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought we did. I don't see it here.
I haven't been able to
Oh,
find it.
it's actually there. It's just not. So see that black little dot? That's Bryn Shaddar.
Okay, I'll mark that.
Yeah, East Haven.
Wait, the black dot that's just a black dot, or the black dot within the black circle?
The black dot that Tom is on.
Okay.
I mean, if they're right here with us, I'll just go down the list of places I've heard and just say like East Haven, Targos, Tourmaline, Dungan's Hole.
Yeah. So let's do that first. So East Haven is here. Oops. I don't know why every single time it does that, but hold on one second.
East Haven is where?
It's
right next to.
yeah, I don't know why, but there you go. So East Haven's the next blue one that I put up. Yep. Go ahead and you can go ahead and ask again too. Do you want to
Tourmaline?
target?
Targos, yes.
So
Here, let's
I get about 25 minutes of availability.
Yeah, I think Vin is actually away from the party at the moment.
Yeah, I put you somewhere else for this session.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will just hop out of here then.
See ya. Have fun at the bar.
No, I'm driving home from a friend's house to back to Kaylee's
Yeah.
parents.
You can still listen. You can still listen in if you want to, though. You can still listen into this, but you They left. What they did is they left the cabin, and Vin went on to do his own thing for now, and they just got tasked with something else. So if you want, you can listen in, and then we'll talk next session. So
Okay.
but all right. So I don't know why it does that. Man, that's weird. Okay. So this is Targus. I made it a black dot, so it's a little easier, but it's right north of East Haven.
Okay, perfect.
Wait, I thought
Yeah.
Targos was over by Bryn Shaddai, because we already have it marked.
Oh, you know what? Targus is over by Brinstar. What am I thinking of? What was the other one you mentioned?
Tourmaline?
Hold on.
Was that it?
Let me just double check that I'm not messing this up. Hold
There's
on one
Targos.
second. Yeah. It's Tourmaline. I'm almost not Tourmaline. What was the other one that you
Dungeon's
said?
Hall? No,
There's that one, but that's
Dungeon's
not
Hall.
where Dungeon Soul is. Hold on. Let me it's okay, guys. I can bring up the other thing. Hold on one second. I actually have the map, so hold on.
So East Haven is to the northwest.
Yes.
I
I
don't like that.
should mark. East Haven is at the west. That's awesome. I
Is
should
West
mark
Haven in the east?
Yep.
really marking the one that which ones we have on the map and which ones we don't.
Yeah, let me bring up the map key too. Hold on one second.
Also, John, I'm
Okay.
going insane. I just wrote down all like some of the information for the speaker, and I can't find it.
Here
Good
we
job.
go.
Oh, there it
Here's
is.
what
I
it is. All right.
okay, I got it.
There it is. Okay. So no, Tourmaline is right south of Lonelywood. So let me get you that. Tourmaline is not where the other one was. So the other one that I marked was hold on. Uh,
Amanda, do you want to update the horror movie cabin?
was Care
I feel like
Denivel.
that's still appropriate.
Yeah. So that one that you can put up there, that's Care Denivel. CAER-DINEVAL. And then let me get the other one for you too. Actually, I'll give you the other ones as well. So hold on one second.
Fuck, I was not listening to that. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The one.
So much easier now that I've overlaid the map on it. So
Which thing was the thing you just said? Sorry, I was just fixing the cabin.
oh, it's Care. So the one that I think the one that you're on is Care Denivel, which is CAER-DINEVAL.
DE. Sorry.
DINEVAL.
Okay.
And then let me put the other one up too for you. This is another one of the 10 towns.
Chris, one more. What was the name? Oh, actually, I can just look on the map of the Durgar stronghold.
Sunblight.
And is that the one that's by the Dwarven Fortress?
That is the Dwarven Fortress.
It is. He thought it was a dwarven fortress, but it's not.
The other dot is the Nautilus.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay, so this black dot that I just put north of the lock here, that you guys don't know the name of, the black dot that's there, this is Care Koenig. So CAER-KONIG. That's another town in 10 towns.
If nobody else got that, I was not listening. I was fixing the stronghold.
Care Koenig. It's one of the. Do you need me to spell it or?
Spell it. I'll help you out.
KARECONIG. Is that correct?
CAREKONIG. Close. CARE. I mean, sorry, CAERKONIG. And then Goodmead is right north of Redwaters, which I'm not sure you have. So hold on, let's put that in. So Goodmead is here. Goodmead is another town in 10 towns, he explains to you, and that is here. It's going to be where this black dot is. That's interesting. Okay, so this is Goodmead. This black dot right here. And then I believe, let's see, do we have 10? Let's look. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so here's Dungan's Hole, which is another town.
In parentheses under, instead of saying Dwarven Stronghold, do we just want to name it Sunblight?
Sure. It's technically Durgar, I guess, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, this could be bad. If we got the Nautilus right next to the Dwarven Stronghold, they're gonna be maybe working together.
They did explain though the Nautilus was crashed. It's crashed in there.
Yeah.
Unless we can fix it.
Yeah, but we're
Of course
probably
we
not
can
gonna
fix it.
Hotwire a mind flayer shift for the party that has a moving base.
Out of
Yes.
game, has anyone played the new Baldur's Gate game yet? It has an amazing, fully 3D rendered Nautilus in it. I'm just curious if anyone's played it.
Not yet,
I
but I
haven't.
want to.
Not yet. It's once it's a bit more developed, I'm probably gonna get it since I've played Divinity and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed that plenty.
It's I recommend that actually because they like I've lost my save like 7 times and like it's kind of a mess, but so it's probably better to do it afterwards, and it's only the first act anyway. But the best thing about that game is it gives you incredible insight, even more so than the second edition thing, because they were able to like add some stuff, or whatever. It gives you an incredible insight in how they actually work and the inner mechanics of them, which we will benefit from here. But yeah, it's pretty neat. So.
BRB, going to play the game.
Hopefully, it gives Gith an actual backstory.
It does.
Since probably
Yeah, it
seem
does.
they don't have much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does to it does this whole second edition thing with the Gith Yankee in the sense that they, I mean, they're a little more than astral pirates now, and it explains why they have like a affinity to dragons and all that fun stuff. So that's a little bit more, yeah, yeah. But okay, so that last one is um that last one there is actually the actual place of Dungan's Hold. So you can change that Gangstar Dungan's Hold thing. It's the black thing right there. He explains to you. Yeah.
Why did we?
It's because that was what the dwarf gave you, but it was bad info. You would
Oh,
have
okay.
found that out as you went there. Yeah. So this is a speaker giving it to you, so he has the exact location of it.
I guess we could also ask both of them if any of the locations we have seem false or inaccurate. Just let us know.
Yeah. If you ask that, he does look over the map, and so far everything besides that looks good. Kelvin's Karn is correct. Um, obviously the towns are now correct, but he does tell you that Dungan's Hold is here instead of where you had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Ignore the horror movie cabin. That's just us being funny.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't even know what that is, so it's all good.
So if you attempted a siege on this Durgal on Sunlight, so are you telling me that East Haven has no guards?
Yeah, that is correct. You heard at the end of this conversation that the speaker was going to give 25 of the militia to him, for the time being. But yeah, all 150 were wiped out.
Okay. Do you have any other information you could give us on the stronghold? Entrances, exits, how many people are in there?
He said the only information that we learned, nobody made it back, except for that they did have the only reason why they know for sure that all of them were wiped out, by the way, is that they actually have like a ranger mercenary that went with them, and he was the only one that survived. He didn't see how many exactly were in the stronghold, but they were able to breach like the outer portion to get in, but it was like an ambush. So they basically scaled the wall. He explains to you that this fortress, to the entrance, is like 100 feet up the stone mountain anyway. And he said it's the facade. He said once you see it, you'll know it, because it's very, very smooth stone. You can tell that it's not like a cave or the mountain. It's completely unnatural. And he said as they scaled up to it, they let them in and they just slaughtered them on the way in. So
Is there any other way that doesn't put yourself out in the open?
he said not that they know of. He said I'm sure you could probably find something, but he doesn't know of anything.
Oh, and might I ask you, one of the things we previously knew about New Haven before we went to go aid Macretus was there's a wizard there that's being put to death, an evil one.
He said yes. He said yes. He said that's actually been put on hold since this calamity happened. But yes,
Might
he said
I mean,
we had a trial, but he said we can't execute anyone or go through anything right now until we find out what's going on with this. He said everything's been put on hold for now.
I was gonna ask him might I ask his name? We're new to the area.
He said he has not given us his name as of yet. He explains that he is a cultist of Tiamat, though, and that he was attempting to basically like they believe, by the way, there's more cult members. He says this all freely to all of you. He says
Mhm.
we found this person. He's in some kind of cult of Tiamat or something. It was him and several others that were trying to kidnap people and bring them back into an ice cave not far from town. Um, it's also believed, they haven't had a trial yet, but it's also believed that they also murdered like a local townsgirl for one of these rituals, and they're going
Mhm.
through and they're investigating it.
Oh, did you get the
But he
location?
is a wizard, though. He is a wizard.
Okay.
They know that he has magic. So
Did you get the location of that cave?
he said, we don't have an exact location. We haven't found it yet because that's one of the things that they were doing before they went through this. He said he does know a general idea, though, and he marks it on the map. I'll mark it with an X. He
Thank you.
thinks it's in this area, and yeah. There. Hold on.
Boy, nothing worse than a cultist
There.
of Tiamat, huh?
Maybe those damn Dwergo.
Yeah.
I was out of character, by the way.
Yeah. He So anyway, do you say that to him, Grin?
No, no.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh gosh, is the summer star activated? It's getting hot in here all of a sudden.
Not yet.
Say out of character.
Yeah.
Out of character. Oh, we have just so funny. We have an expert.
Yeah.
Henri.
What?
I'm an expert.
I'm an expert on everything.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, what we do is we send Elda in, claiming to be Tiamat herself, but transformed into a kobold.
What?
I have two different
What?
scale tones. They might believe it.
Yeah, you could just make yourself multicolored.
I have disguise self.
What could go wrong?
Kobold of Tiamat.
I mean, we
God.
could get one more pseudo dragon and just like strap them to your back, and you'd have 5 heads.
True.
This is
That'd
bad.
be very close.
But
So
they
what we're
do.
gonna do? Sorry, go
Yep.
ahead. I was just
He
making more
he.
jokes.
Well, he does say. He says I don't mean to rush anyone, and you've done so much for all of us at Tin Towns as well. Um, he said if you do decide to go through this, and we will be incredibly thankful and eternally thankful for you if you decide to go and at least try to take care of this. Just if you could, um, he says, is there? Do you have any magics that can communicate with us back when you get there?
Oh, we do.
Says wonderful. He says, yeah, if you could just if he said, I hate to ask this, but worst case, if you think things are going to go bad or you believe that you need to run or whatever, if you could just let us know so we can start evacuating. Um, he says, I do have a way to talk to the other speakers, and if we need to evacuate 10 towns, like every single town, he said we've never done it and in the history of us being speakers, but he said we do have an action plan if we had to go south. Many people will die if we do this. Just keep that in mind. Like if they have to go south, not everyone's going to live to that journey. Otherwise, people would have already left in towns, like when the winter got bad. So you can basically a normal 4 HP human could easily die on the journey just getting out of 10 towns at this point. So just keep that in mind. But he said that yeah, we if you could do that, that would be internally grateful. We'd be internally grateful for that and be incredibly helpful if for instance the towns were going to get overrun by Drugar.
Well, I mean, if it goes well, we can fly you in the Nautilus to somewhere warmer.
He
I
looks
feel like.
yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like fixing the Nautilus is like an after we get the stronghold dealt with.
Well, if we fix it first and then take care of the stronghold,
Yeah, I was gonna
we
say
might be armed.
Abel probably sees this as no, but yeah.
Abel can do Abel, but
I mean, if it has armaments and cannons,
yeah, but if it's right next door, I mean, we've done crazier, I guess.
you mean stupider.
Well, you say tomato, I say tomato.
You definitely say something that begins with a T.
I mean, bravery and courage are just the same thing, just one's more virtuous than the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Fortune favors the bold.
As Macretus returned,
Well, Mercurius would teleport it out, but he didn't tell you where you were going. He didn't say where he was going, and the only reason they know the Summer Star is fixed is because they have those boxes.
I would have asked either one of the speakers if they had talked to Macretus.
They have not seen him.
Okay. Good to know.
Okay. Now, to get there, so let's go through this a little bit. If you guys do decide to go ahead and go to the stronghold, to get there, it's a little perilous. However, if you use the timing right, the 2 o'clock, it will be drastically easier and probably not so dangerous to get there. Meaning, probably you won't even have to make rolls to go through it. So that's pretty much your only bet. You kind of have to leave it to. They explain this to you as well because it gets really, really bad south of Lake Dunstor over by these mountains. There's like an perpetual, really high blizzard in this area, which they already thought was unnatural, which is why those Goliaths were scouting around that area because it seems like there's like a magical storm around this whole place. But if you go during the only time it's going to be summer in Icewind Dale, it won't be so bad when the Summer Star's active.
If I at all can, I'm going to set an alarm on the timepiece.
You
for
can.
2 o'clock.
You
so I
actually
know
can.
what-
The timepiece does have that function, so yeah, perfect. Yep.
Or maybe a little early too.
Yep. Okay.
Was there any other business before we left that we should attend to? We should probably let Copper know, right, that we finished. mission?
I think that would be wise.
So if you guys want to, Copper would already have been alerted that you guys were back in town because there was basically like a whole parade of people. Everyone in the town is talking about this. The town's not that big, and they kind of all stopped what they were doing, waiting for you guys to come back. Everyone was really disappointed to see you ushered into the speaker's cabin. But Copper is in that group, so if you guys do go outside, you'll be able to find Copper pretty easily.
I don't know if there's anything here in town that would help us with it, but mind flayers like mess with your head and stuff, and you know, knowing we know kind of what we're going up against. Is there any preparations we should do for that kind of stuff?
You said they mess with your head. I can
Yeah,
help,
they like.
I can help a little
you
bit
can
with
help
that.
Cool.
Yeah, I can fortify two people's minds, but no more.
I kind of look over at Grin.
Yeah, him and maybe me.
Got something to say?
We just have to hope
Well, I'm
that
just I don't know exactly how mind flares affect your mind, but if my mind was tainted in any way, I would it would be a detriment to this group.
More tainted, you mean?
Gross.
It's already a detriment to this group.
How dare you?
yes, I can target two people.
I feel like my mind is a steel trap.
I
Yeah.
feel
You've
like
proven that to be false.
I feel like if we were to do this, it'd be best to use it on myself and one other person. That way, if I were to fall victim, I'd at least be less likely to stop enforcing this in everyone else's minds.
That's fair. You can take Grin then.
Okay.
Do we know much about Durgar? Do they have like darkness powers or what?
They don't
If
like
you-
sunlight.
If you want, you can make a nature check on Dugar, and I'll let you know. You have to scroll. You have to get pretty high for this. They do have tricks, but you'd have to get pretty high.
We also saw them go invisible in the Luskin sewers.
So you know at least they can turn invisible. That's right.
A 19.
All right. You remember, Abel. You remember that Dugar have one other very, very prominent power, and it goes both ways. They can make themselves smaller, and they can make themselves bigger. And a common tactic for them it's very interesting because they're the height of dwarves, but they can make themselves giant and then attack you, which gives them advantages to strength and of course their reach and all kinds of stuff. But they can
And
also make themselves smaller.
I think these are the ones that change size from like her size to like bigger than brother.
You do remember that they have some kind of inherent magical resistances, maybe to certain magics. The only other thing that you do remember is that by nature, they tend to be very highly suspicious. They're known to be greedy, but that doesn't mean that every single one of them is. And in general, they're generally kind of vicious and not very nice, but it doesn't mean that all of them are like that. That's you guess that might also just be a product of growing up in the Underdark. The Underdark is a very vicious, hostile place. So
I'll explain that. They're
yeah, but they are dwarves from the
work
Underdark.
on them as well. Yeah.
And he is right. The speaker's right. They do not come. They don't do surface stuff a lot at all. Matter of fact, they generally hate the surface because they have an affinity. So the sunlight, just like the drow, is not good for them. They hate the sunlight.
Oh man, it would have been
Yeah.
amazing if we put
they're
your star right over their stronghold.
No, I honestly agree with them. The sun is it hurts a little bit. The dark is much more comforting.
Yeah.
Durgar sympathizer.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know quite a bit about. Depending on, we need to talk about this still a bit. But if you were Underdark, you would know quite a bit about Durgar.
She would have been in a kobold
Yeah.
nest hive,
Okay,
whatever, for at least a little while.
So she can tell you. So straight up, you don't like them because they tend to kill kobolds by like the dozen to clear out their areas, and their fortresses are known to be perfect. They're known to be impenetrable. That's actually their thing. They make really, really, really impenetrable fortresses. As a matter of fact, that is the only reason they were not completely wiped out by the Drow. The Drow and the Dugar have been at war for centuries, and the Dugar are slowly but surely winning that war of attrition because their fortifications are nearly invincible. And little by little, they've been gaining land by building these massive fortresses underground. Also, uh, the 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 rumor is that the Drugar are now much richer than the dwarves, and the fact that they have just better minerals, better gems, and everything from their time in the Underdark, more magic items. As a matter of fact, that's another thing that you know about them too. That uh, the ones that you have seen out that have killed brethren of yours and other drow, whatever, they tend to have a decent amount of magic items that they find in the Underdark, and that's where because that's the other thing that they look for besides gems. They're like magic item hoarders, so that's one of the advantages of being in the Underdark for them is they look for ancient relics. So
I would definitely tell the party, like, we should certainly be on our guard if we go there. I've heard stories of their fortifications being, well, we're not able to get in, and neither are the Drow or anyone else for that matter. They're very well fortified, and their warriors tend to be equipped to the extreme with magical artifacts and items.
the other thing that you do think is very odd, you've never ever heard of a Druger going surface. Number one, they hate the sunlight, but number two, they absolutely must have a disadvantage building above ground because they've perfected the way that they've built these fortresses in the Underdark, but they probably have no experience building them in the side of a mountain. So that's the only thing that you can tell the party that might be a saving grace here is that this would be new to them.
All right, I would communicate that as well.
Yep. Yep.
Does it look like it's been sunny enough lately? Because it's like constant twilight. Does it look like it would be sunny enough where they would get that disadvantage of some sort?
No, no. You'll have to wait till 2, but no, definitely not.
That's good for me to know.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not bad for anyone either. Like anyone that has sunlight. However, at 2 o'clock, you never know. But
Abel, is there something you can make for our new kobold friend that would
Aerosol.
aid her sunlight sensitivity?
I have to go shopping for one quick thing before we leave.
We just give the kobold sunglasses.
there's only one general shop in town, by the way. It's that one shop. There's only one shop, and it's a fisherman's general store, and it has. What are you looking for?
I was
Kimo?
basically going to look for a piece of headwear or even a piece of cloth that I could just put over to disguise like my face while keeping my eyes like sort of just like a ski mask.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. No, that they definitely have.
Like an umbrella.
Yep. They have cold weather gear that actually works perfectly. It's the same stuff you saw the dwarves wearing. It goes over your entire face and just has slits for eyes. That would work.
So,
I'll get
uh,
one of those.
a
It's not
question.
it's not going to obscure your eyes, by the way. They'll still be able
No.
to see your glowing eyes, but it'll scare your face completely.
A question more mechanically. I have cold resistance, so do I need to worry as much about the cold?
No, you're like Grin. Grin has really good resistance. So no, it's not that bad for you right now.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah. Cold resistance is good here.
Nice. You're gonna need it.
Yep.
Yeah. How much would that be? The cost.
Oh, they will give it to you for half a gold.
Perfect.
And that's expensive, by the way. That's actually really, really expensive. But they have limited supply and stuff. But for half a gold, they'll give you the mask.
Sounds
They
good.
actually will give you the full cold weather gear. So they're going to give it all of you for half a gold. But I'm sure, like if you want to take it's what the dwarf said. So what it is it's a mask, but it's also this very. It looks like probably cowhide, but you're not exactly sure that's got some kind of like larger. You guess maybe bearish fur on top of it. You talk to the owner, you ask him what it is, he doesn't tell you. It's a trade secret, but it's some kind of animal fur that goes over your whole body, and then the same fur is made out of the mask.
Look at me, I look like Grin.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
You
But
wish.
yeah, but anyway, so so is the plan that you guys will wait and try to time the 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 venture like at 2 o'clock, or do you want to try to like get there halfway and use 2 o'clock to your advantage? Like, what's the idea?
I think it would. I think it would be smartest to leave before that, and then just as we're starting to feel a little bit of cold, 2 o'clock kicks in, and then
Yeah.
charges us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you think it's probably a 2-hour trek.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, so you look at it. You talk to the speaker. You talk to the speaker that's still here, and she explains to you that it's probably a good 2 hours. So, what time do you guys want to leave?
Get an
I mean,
hour
if we
of
can get there at 2, that might be a disadvantage for their guards too.
yeah.
Yeah.
It will be it could be a disadvantage for their guards, assuming they're outside the citadel. Yes.
We also, how are we approaching this? Are we like full tilt into it, or are we like scouting, or like how are we doing this?
We should at least scout first. I can send the Duchess up, have her make herself invisible, then do a little looking around.
Mhm. All right. Well, go ahead and make a survival check. It can be nature, but go ahead and make a survival wilderness check on the journey out there. And then what are you guys leaving at noon?
Yeah, I think.
Sounds about
Okay,
like
so
that. Yeah.
you're gonna leave the full 2 hours before to try to get there right when the summer star's activating. Um, so yeah, go ahead and make a wilderness check.
Everyone.
Am I
Uh,
also making that
well,
check?
so you still need to make a wilderness check just because this is how it works. We need to have one scout, like one person leading it. Everyone does make a wilderness check, by the way, but the one person leading it, their check is actually the most important. The other checks are going to determine if you need to make Constitution saves. So you just make your wilderness check first.
We have a guide type amongst us, or
What check is the most important check?
The guide's wilderness check
Is it
is the
one
most.
check?
Yeah, his is one check, like or hers. Whoever's going to lead the whole party is making a wilderness check for the different reason than everyone else has to make a wilderness check. So, the wilderness check in the beginning is your scouting check. That's the one where you're leading the way. Because there's going to be almost no visibility, especially once after you get out like 30 minutes from the town. It's going to start snowing and blizzarding so bad that you're gonna have to use landmarks and other things to go through, and just your own key sense of like where you're going. This is where you could, like, for instance, get in circles. You leave at 12, you might not get there until 4. That kind of stuff. So that's why this is super important. So this is the guide check is the most important. Everyone still has to make wilderness checks, and then depending on your wilderness checks, you need to make Constitution saves. So
A question: could I cast prestidigitation on like one person's clothing to keep them warm for an hour at a time?
no, unfortunately, in this case, it doesn't work like that. I
All
double
right.
checked. Yeah, it wouldn't work in this case. No.
That's about right.
Chris,
uh, wow.
Get in the backpack.
does the cold weather
Oh, you're
gear
right.
have a name on D&D Beyond?
Yeah. So uh, well, no, but the cold weather gear is going to give you advantage on the wilderness checks once you get
Right.
through them. But everyone, but for now, let's make our scouting one. You do not get advantage on this. Who's going to be the scout?
I'm proficient at it and reasonably wise. Is anyone else?
If
Also,
when we decide who's going to be the scout, should I put in the scout check? Good talk, everybody.
Also,
Meet again next week.
also, if I'm not the scout, I can give them some advice if they really mess up.
I have advantage, but my wisdom is only 10, so it's only a +3.
I would volunteer to scout, but I stealth at disadvantage. I don't know if that's gonna be important.
No, in
Stealth?
this case, it won't be. In this case, you don't need to use stealth.
Okay, then I would volunteer to scout.
Well, you're also in this case you're leading the group, so this is a wilderness check for you to lead the party to make sure you don't get off course, essentially.
So
It
Abel
looks
Abel
like
rolled the
Keanu's
highest.
actually probably the best.
Yeah.
It looks like Keanu's probably the best at it
I'm
as
not.
far as skill.
Maybe.
I mean,
I have +1 to survival.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm
I-
misreading that. Yeah.
yeah, I have a +3. I guess like Elda could probably help scout and maybe try using her pseudo dragon to get a little bit better of vision.
Yep. Yeah, you can have it fly up while you're doing it and everything. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
not
looks
for
like it would probably make the sense for Grin to do it. And that way, if just mechanically speaking, if something goes off, Abel can give him a bonus.
Yeah, I would assume we'd want Grin to anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense too. Yeah.
Okay.
that works.
All right. Yeah, and Grin's also yeah. So that's fine. So Grin, what did you get?
14.
Okay. All right. So you are going to be. Go ahead.
And I would, remind him about how the timing of the, to pace ourselves, that it's going to get warmer soon, so we can push it now, and give him a flash of
Advantage.
genius for +5.
Okay. Awesome. No, that's good. That's good. So, all right. So Grin got a. You're saying Grin got a 19? Okay. So Grin, as you guys were going through this and as you were getting there, if it wasn't for Abel's help, you would have been delayed. But with Abel's help, you were able to get there on time. So there was a couple close calls where you were going down into like the ravines to go across the mountain, and you were completely lost. But with Abel's help, you actually made it. Um, and by the way, as it starts to get close, as you get closer to the stronghold, and as it gets closer to 2, you start to notice that the blizzard is pretty substantial. Like it's getting really uncomfortable at this point. Gren, you're still okay. All right. So what was everyone? Who made the lowest wilderness check?
Brother.
That would be me with a 4.
Okay.
Well,
All right. That's fine. So what's the next highest?
you can be with a 6.
Okay. So brother, Kino. Who got under a 10?
I got a 10, but I'm also in the backpack.
Okay. All right. All right, that's fine. So go ahead and go. I guess all 3 of you go ahead and make Constitution saves.
Will this be for a cold damage?
No, unfortunately not.
Henry, are you wearing the
good.
ring?
Yeah, I have the ring on as well.
I was gonna say, we don't get any
Oh, the
bonus
ring. If Henri actually negates this with the ring, though.
Oh, okay, cool.
about the
You do
the
remember
Yeti
this with
coats.
the ring. So the Yeti coats are going to help with this, yes. Yep. But not yet. So go ahead and roll Constitution saving throws.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, also I texted you.
Okay, let's look.
Oof, the dice aren't agreeing with me tonight.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oof.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'll let you know what you find in a
Okay.
little bit, Henri. All right. What was your Constitution saving throw?
I was a 7.
Mine was a 10.
Okay. So both of you get to roll again. You both failed, but go ahead and roll again. This is just because you have the Yeti cloaks, by the way.
You're the dice gods.
Kino got 15 and brother got 11.
Okay. So you both are able to power through this. However, you were really close, brother. You know that like if it's really really bad for you. Mechanically, what this means is that when you travel like this, there's a chance that you can actually get a point of exhaustion, and you didn't this time, but you were very close to it. All right. So anyway, so you guys, so once you round the actual mountain ridge, Abel, you're the first one that notices this. You see that high up to at the point to where you would release the summer star, there's a small glint of like a flash of light, and then all of a sudden, literally in seconds, the air drops and you start to feel it warm up all the way to like a 40-degree rise. It's very, very natural and kind of unsettling to you. It's still a blizzard going on, but it's now around 60 degrees when it was closer to 15 where you were. So that's a pretty dramatic like leap. It's almost that's 45 degrees or so up, and everyone instantly feels much better. Um, and it is now brighter in the area too. It's not exactly like a summer sky. It never will be in Icewind Dale, but it's definitely bright outside. Much brighter. So also here, let me show you what you see when you come around the corner as well. Um, something else. So as you do walk around that mountain ridge, you start to see what. Now, granted, you're pretty far away from this still. It's not as close as the picture, and this is where you can start doing your scouting. But let me show you what the outside of it looks like. Okay, so. All right. This is what you see on the outskirt. This is a massive fortress that's built into the side of the mountain. And this is what it looks like. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
I can see it now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is a massive looking fortress. You can see that there are these small, tiny arrow slits on the outside of it, and it's lit up on the inside. This thing looks pretty ominous. I mean, it's not exactly what you guys were expecting. This thing looks, I mean, intimidating. Now, what you can also see from that picture is there's a zigzag of stairways that go all the way up to this area here too.
Okay. So the stairways look like the way in.
Yeah.
One should be careful for traps on the way up. They could easily even just throw rocks down at us.
Rocks, archers, oil, ice.
Let's get up there fast before they just figure us out.
I mean, yeah. Oh boy. Are we scouting? Are we going?
Maybe worthwhile to send a scout first.
We could.
Is the bright light like in front of this cliff face or behind it, or like where is that in relation to where
That is
where
a
this
great
is?
question. The bright light is facing into the cliff face. So
Perfect.
the good news is, yeah, it's not like they have shadow. It's shining right on them.
Perfect.
That's going to give us a definite advantage.
If we're really worried, we could always try scaling the mountain, then descending upon them with rope.
Death from above.
But that would
God.
it would certainly be a commitment.
Or see if there's a back entrance. I
If they're
mean,
smart, there would be a back entrance.
I mean, that depends. I mean, that's a easy way to get out, but an easier way to get in as well, which
I guess it also depends on how much time we want to put into this because it might take us a while to. When we're talking about going around the other side of a mountain.
yeah, that's why I said it would be a commitment if we were to choose to do such a thing. Or we
I
could
mean,
just try
Well,
praying that we can rush up.
I'm all for storming the gates.
Yeah.
Well, don't
it's
forget,
also going to get cold. It's also going to get cold in like 43 minutes or whatever. So.
we can always have the Duchess polymorph one of us into something large that can fly and have us get a little bit of height advantage.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do.
How far
Duchess
off
of
from this
Polymorph.
are we, Chris?
So you're at least 500 feet, maybe 1,000 feet. So what I imagine happened is to get to a safe distance, you also used, at the very least, the Cobalt Pseudo Dragon to kind of scout as high as it could, which is only 100 feet, I believe, in this case. But you were able to like see it, get back, and go through it because it's so massive. So you're pretty far away. You're in a safe distance.
How tall would you put this cliff face at?
At least from your guess, 300 feet, maybe 500 feet.
For my Pseudo Dragon, as long as I'm on the same plane with it, I can communicate with it and I
Yep.
can see it through senses. So,
But I
that
think
should be-
it only has a range of 100 feet, though. Is that right, or is that
Uh,
different?
what has a range of 100 feet?
You're familiar.
I'll check that. Because at least the Pact of the Chain says as long as it's on the same plane. Oh,
Maybe
Find Familiar has that limitation. Pact of the Chain removes it. It would seem.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a good thing to all check, but
Yeah.
that seems to be what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely an option.
Oh yeah, it's because I took Voice of the Chain Master, which is a specific thing for that.
So you have an unlimited familiar?
Yeah, so Voice of the Chain Master, its wording specifically is you can communicate telepathically with your familiar and perceive through your familiar senses as long as you're on the same plane of existence. Additionally, while perceiving through your familiar senses, you can also speak through your familiar in your own voice, even if your familiar is normally incapable of speech.
That's pretty. If it really is unlimited, that's highly useful. So you could definitely get easily 1,000 feet from this and have no issue.
It can be used as a kind of creepy extension of myself, although that's a little bit weird.
Yeah. No, that's pretty powerful though. That's good. Yeah.
So we have one useful pseudo dragon.
Wow.
That
Grin!
doesn't
Wow.
call out the other one.
How dare you?
That's awesome.
I'm sorry.
I mean, all she does is whine.
I mean, hopefully the pseudo dragon didn't hear that, but
All this entire group does is whine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I can't believe we have a kobold that shows up that's more baby and has a better pseudo dragon.
I quit this group.
Sorry.
You can get Cio to join this group. I'm done.
No, I thought you were taking Cio.
No, you guys can have Cio.
Good thing
No,
Dave
no
didn't
one-
hear that.
Fuck this, I'm done.
No one can replace Henri and Butterball.
You clearly have a replacement for Henri and
No, we
Butterball.
don't.
Elda goes over to Henri to offer head pats as
Can you reach
a
that
form
high?
of apology.
Yeah.
She could try and jump. She's only she's only like 2'2". Maybe not.
Elda is my only friend in this group. You all can go to hell.
Or it was obviously a joke.
You can all go to hell.
I mean, that's the plan.
Well, that's hurtful.
See you all there.
Except Abel. Elda and Abel are my only friends.
Abel was
Oh, come
trying to
on.
figure out if he has to not call you a friend now. Like,
No. Abel and Elda get the passes.
Elda gets passes for head pats.
Yes.
Excellent.
Notice she didn't say grin.
No. Grin
So
made the
much for
comment.
Team Tall and Small.
Yeah.
Now it's just small and small.
Team baby.
You hurt my feelings, Grin.
Team Magic, baby.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I accept your apology.
I'm also sorry.
No, you're
you're
not.
Yes, I am.
In all reality, though, I did kind of design Elda to be decent for exploration. I didn't take Fly, but I wanted to go for the idea of exploration, and that seems to have paid off already.
Does anyone have invisibility?
Me.
Yeah.
Do you have it like
Was it-
on you right now, brother?
Yes, in the form of an actual dragon.
It might still be better for me to cast it just so we don't risk Z.
Actually, I take that back. No, she doesn't have it. Just the polymorph.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can turn Elder's familiar invisible, and it can scout.
Yep.
That would work.
I will do that. You have an hour.
All right.
By the way, I wasn't going to say anything because I don't want to take any of Elda's thunder away. You can actually do the same thing, Henri. It's just that when your familiar dies, it's dead forever. So just keep that in mind.
Don't worry, I have that very prevalently in my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want my familiar to die because, well, that's not a good thing. And also,
But
they're 10 gold.
Henri's familiar does not have the limitation. The Henri's familiar does not have the limitation of the 100 feet, is what I was saying. But yes,
Wait, I thought you specifically told me that it did have the limitation of 100 feet.
It, so it does have the limitation of 100 feet when it comes to right now the pseudo dragon not wanting to.
Oh.
Yeah, it's complicated. The
Okay.
pseudo dragon doesn't have the find familiar limitation at all.
Okay.
The
Okay.
pseudo
I
dragon,
understand.
and what I actually said was the pseudo dragon will not get any like farther than a certain range from you.
Okay. That makes sense.
But yes, it has no limitation. It could go for miles or whatever. But anyway, but you know, if you did that anyway, you would risk it dying, and that's also not something you can really do. So, but anyway, so yeah, so this will be very useful. So if you want to, you can absolutely scout ahead with it being invisible, and you'll be able to get a much clearer view of how to get up
Yeah.
there.
I'll certainly take advantage of that, and probably the first thing I'll do is try and have my pseudo dragon on its own go above the fortress and look through its senses once it is like above the fortress and can have a bird's eye view, I guess literally in this case.
Yep.
Or
So as
dragon's eye view.
yeah. So as it starts to fly up, first of all, the stairs, there's no Drugar guards at all. As it goes into the arrow slits, surprisingly there are no Drugar either. But it does see that there probably were at some point, because the Drugar themselves will go into, like, you can see in the back there are plenty of Drugar. As a matter of fact, it sees at least 20 Drugar in the back there, but they're not going to touch the area where the light's coming in. They've been ushered out. They basically all like kind of ran out where the light kind of lit up. So where the light's at, you're free to like move pretty freely. You did see that there is another area as it starts to climb up. Can you guys see my mouse?
Yes.
Can you see my mouse circling? Okay.
Yes.
So as it goes through and starts to fly up, and as you go up these stairways, there's another area, a smaller door on the side of the cliff that it found, that's actually on where the picture isn't, where it's basically like it looks like it's another entrance. It's kind of difficult to climb there. There's not, the stairway is kind of like rickety, and the stairway itself was not carved all the way. It wasn't finished. But there is another entrance on top of the entrances that you can see. It's just more dangerous to try to climb up.
I'll relate to the party that. So it would appear that you have two options. The Draugr seem to be avoiding anywhere that's lit up with light. So if you want to make a move for the main entrance, we want to go now. There also seems to be a unfinished back entrance, as I believe Grin suggested. So we could attempt that, but the stairs don't lead all the way up, so it'd be a bit more difficult. And I'd probably have my pseudo dragon return to me. I need to give that dragon a name.
Yep.
Something like spectral, like a phantom or something, a ghost, a
Queen
banshee.
Sprinkle Princess.
Well, I was gonna say like a synonym to wraith was the joke.
I don't know that we're really great at sneaking around anyway.
Wraith?
Yeah.
So maybe we
Sprinkle
the
Princess.
stealth
Wraith?
experts.
Perfect. Sprinkle Princess.
Pete.
I'll think
The
about it.
great.
Raising.
Long may she
Um,
reign. Oh, so I have an
I don't know that
idea.
we're great at sneaking around. Okay, go ahead.
Well,
I am absolutely not good at sneaking around.
Neither
I
am
hold
I.
up I hold up the summoning book. If we're going in loud, I can call in some backup.
Because the first thing we want is your backup.
I mean, let's just say if we're
Your
storming a
demon brother.
fortress, not just a demon, a dragon demon.
I
Even
can
better.
also call back up.
That's true. You got the
Oh.
fella.
Yeah, the one thing, by the way, the one thing the pseudo dragon does tell you is that the entire area inside is a thick, smoky haze. It's hazy in there.
Oh,
It doesn't know why. It has no idea why, but it obscures its vision.
Hotbox in the fortress.
Does it seem like it's just a normal haze or like a magical haze?
It doesn't know.
Famous
It doesn't know.
420
It
blaze
doesn't.
it.
It has no idea, but it's hazy in there. It's definitely harder to see. Perception checks are going to have a disadvantage, by the way, and it is hazy enough that there could be other things going on too. But yeah.
So yeah, I also have a backup summon.
That's a good idea.
I can summon a watery tentacle to help us out as well, although I doubt it's as powerful as anything you're mentioning.
I'm hearing all good things. Maybe we can summon all three and get like a weird Avengers.
I don't think
I
we'd
don't
want to
know that
squander.
magic works that way.
It might not be best to throw everything we have at just the entrance when we don't know what's inside.
Well, I was gonna say once we get to the top, also it takes me about 10 minutes. It's probably not instantaneous because I have to read a passage.
If those creatures that were described earlier with mind flayers are as terrible as you said, you might want to save it for that.
That's true.
I think we could probably deal with whatever they'll have for guards and then play it by ear from that.
All right.
It'll take them a little while to raise, like, you know, backup, I would think.
Do we have? Sorry.
I was gonna say, if you want to go into the main entrance, we should do it now while there's still light shining on it.
Yes.
I'm sure they'll return
Yes.
to posts very soon.
I was gonna say if stuff goes sour real quick, do we have an escape plan? Teleport out, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can dimension door.
Oh no, we can't.
Two
We
people
can't
out.
do that today. Actually,
No, we took. Did we take? Oh yeah, yeah. You're right.
I could dimension door two people out because I could teleport one person out, teleport back, use the ring teleport to bring one more person back. That's only a total of 3 people.
All right. Well, hopefully, I mean, we'll also fall back if it gets bad, but just that we have some semblance of a plan going in. Other than that, are we gonna do this?
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
I suppose it's time to break down the gates.
Oh boy, they also defeated an entire city.
Yeah, I'm not feeling optimistic.
The city weakened them.
You also never feel optimistic, to be fair.
I'm not
I'm usually
expecting
right.
anyone to come here.
You are right, but I'm just saying you're usually a little pessimist.
I prefer the term realistic.
That's fair. I knew you'd say something like that. All right, I pull out Ant. We doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. So which entrance did you guys decide to go into?
The front door, I
I
believe.
think we're pushing the
Front
main door light.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Oh, this could be really bad, but I'm excited.
All right. Cool. All right. So you guys go ahead and you're gonna rush the front door. So
I think they were gonna try to sneak, but I mean, it's gonna be what it is, you know.
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. So you'll be able to see my thing here. So this is what you'll see as you get. I didn't model the entire cliff, but as you get all the way to the top on the stairs, there is a giant door that you will be able to see a bit better. I'll give you us a little more light so you can see it. And this giant door is here. It's closed, but this is what it looks like as you get up to it.
Grin, does
On
it
our
keep-
way up here, are we noticing any tracks in the snow?
No, no tracks at all. No, but again, it is a blizzard outside, so it's very
Yep.
possible that they've just been snowed over.
I want to mage hand sweep the footsteps behind me as we're walking.
Okay. Yep. You
Remember,
can.
remember, everybody, once we're inside, there is a thick haze. It'll be hard to see.
Yep.
Grin, is summoning your thing instantaneous?
It is. It is, Gren.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It takes an action.
Okay, I'm feeling good about this, guys. I'm
Yep.
feeling good.
All right. I will approach the door as quietly as I can and attempt to inspect it.
Okay. Yep. Go for it. Give me investigation.
But remember, I only have 3, and then it's gone forever.
Yep. That's right.
The 20 or so Durgar that we saw inside, were they all bunched up or were they moving around?
Moving around. And there's more of them in there, but they were moving around. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I had a 27.
All right. So this was investigation or this was perception? Investigation?
That was investigation. Do you want me to roll perception as well?
No. It's okay. So you went through to investigate the door. It is locked. Abel can figure out how to unlock it though. You definitely figure this out.
Okay. Yeah, I will attempt to unlock it then.
Yep. Go ahead and make a stealth check to see if you can stealthily open this door.
Okay.
Guidance.
This is not my strong.
I'm
That's okay.
readying chill touch if there is someone right on the other side that sees him.
Sure.
That's a grand total of a 13 on the stealth.
Okay. All right. You are able to open the door. Here we go. Hold on. Tailspire's not. All right, so you are able to open the door, and so far no one sees you. And there is a ceiling. It's a little hard to see, so it's not open like this. But this is what you guys see coming into it. There's a main entranceway. There's a chest. There's a little area here. There's a stone in the middle. And let's get your characters out.
Guys, we're back in a
And
dungeon.
I'm going to be
I was
walking.
gonna say this is a pretty big just as a heads up. This is maybe a couple like I don't even know how many sessions this is, but
Okay.
it's pretty big. So
Just like old times.
And I'm going to have my defender like roughly like going around corners through doors for me.
okay, yep.
Unless somebody wants to stealth ahead. I don't know. We don't
Yeah.
have that guy anymore, do we?
Yeah, Grid normally would volunteer to like be up front, but he doesn't. He's not stealthy at all.
How long does that invisibility last again?
An hour.
Right. At least for that hour, I'll continue to have my pseudo dragon float ahead. Although,
Yep.
once that's nearing its end, I'll have them come back to me since, well, it's
Okay.
dangerous to just be out there.
All right. So far, who's walking in first?
I'm going to send my defender in first and then follow it about 10 feet behind.
Okay. All right. Yep. So your defender does walk in first, and this is what he sees, Abel. He sees that there's some kind of desk here with a chest and a wooden like wall thing that goes here, and then something here as well. And then there's like some stones or something. It's relatively dark in here, by the way. It's hazy and dark. It's actually this is the real light. Let me show you. It's like this, but I'm making it lighter because I know the stream it's just harder to see. That's the actual like what it really looks like. But for now, we'll give you some light so you can look at it. You notice, though, that there are some glowing mushrooms on the top, and those give off just a faint amount of light. you've seen these, Elda. These grow indigenous to the Underdark. They're all over the place, and you recognize them immediately. They're
I'm
called
gonna
glow caps. They're called glow caps, but these are like makeshift light sources.
I'm gonna crack out like another halo like Kino has,
Yep.
and on my defender,
Okay. Yep. Yeah,
send it
that'll help.
over just behind the desk, and I'm
Okay.
gonna stand in the doorway that it's in now.
All right. Surprisingly, there's no one around yet, and this is what he sees. So let me show you. So there is what looks like rock wall here, and by the way, when he goes through and he starts to see this, you see that mineral that's jutting out in the rocks all over the place here. It seems to be pretty plentiful, and it's that cool crystalline. It almost looks metallic, but it's definitely a gem, and it's just slightly see-through. It's like a gray, smoky quartz crystal, and it's just slightly see-through in it. But it's that same crystal with the magical properties.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Chardolin. Yeah, it's Chardolin. There's Chardolin all over this place.
Once it gets to that door, I'll slowly move up to the desk and then kind of,
Yeah. So the
people
desk has so the desk has what looks like there are papers strewn all over this desk, and it looks like there are mining queries. It looks like there's normally probably someone at the desk to greet people as they come in. And right now he's got a ledger of it looks like a Chardolin ledger, and it's thousands of pieces of Chardolin that they're mining.
Okay.
Maybe daily. You can't tell, but it's a lot of Chardolin.
Okay.
Abel, do you want me to move
I'll
up?
just. Yeah, yeah. I would move up to the other side of the desk and then wait people to come in behind me.
Okay. Yep. So
In the
everybody's
chest?
gonna start walking in.
Yeah.
No one's
said.
opened it yet. So yep.
Would it seem unusual to Elda for there to be a welcoming desk?
So generally, yeah. So you're not exactly sure. So it would absolutely be unusual if this was a welcoming desk, but you're not so sure. You think this could be some kind of clerical desk, maybe. Um, you're not sure what the use would be, and you've never ever seen a fortress built like this. You have heard stories because you know of like one like kobold uprising where they did actually storm one of these fortresses, and they're generally even colder and more nondescript than this. You heard stories of them filled with like torture chambers and other things, so this one looks a little more like it looks different than the stories, at least.
It's shockingly cozy for one of these places.
Yeah.
I am going to check out the chest, looking at it before I touch it.
Yeah, of course. You want to do investigation? Yep.
That's an 11.
Okay. It
That
doesn't
was
look like
perception.
it doesn't look like it's trapped.
Do you want a mage hand to open that up?
Then I will investigate it.
Okay. You want to see if so it's locked. It is locked. It doesn't look like it's trapped, but it is locked.
All right. I can't spell.
You just forgot to.
I like real dice. Yeah, I know. That's a 12, and
All right.
yeah, I will.
So Abel will eventually be able to unlock this, but no time soon. It's going to take a long time. So
I will take out my picks and get to work at it, I guess.
well, do you guys? So Abel, you start to do it, and you're like, I don't know why, but this one's going to take me a while. Like it could take you up to 30 minutes to open this.
We might not have
This
that
may
kind
be
of
a
time.
bit.
If we
Okay.
really wanted to try doing this, maybe we could also get some of that crystal while we're here.
Well, we only
Yeah.
have a
Oh, yeah.
we only have a bit of. We're working on daylight
Yeah,
here.
we don't have too much time.
I'll note that, and then I guess we should look for guards and.
We can always
occupy
double
this
back
place.
to this, or we could just try breaking it. I mean,
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have
The
the
noise,
axe
though.
on my
Yeah.
person.
that is true.
Be super noisy, but
I know.
I'm also talking at a
Um,
level that is below my actual talking level right now.
Yep.
Which way looks to be? Is it just that stairway down? Is the only thing?
Yeah, yeah. If
Okay.
he can go through and scout out a little bit, but I'll give you up to like here. But there's a doorway. It's made of stone.
I'm gonna have him walk slowly forward, and I'll follow at 10 feet. When he gets to the door, I'll move up and perceive, and then investigate.
Okay. All right.
It's an 18 perception.
There's some kind of so here's the thing. This door you can tell is unlocked, but there are runes all over the door.
Okay. I won't actually touch it, but I will, look it over as well as I can.
Yep.
I'll have my mage hand ready with my tools. That's
Yep.
a 20 investigation.
You also notice there's a grating here too that looks to go down into some kind of like much lower portion, and you can tell that this is also kind of where the haze is coming from. It's coming from below and it's coming out of the grating. And what was that roll?
It was a 20 investigation.
Okay. It does look like the runes are set up as like you have to basically figure out how to open this door without activating the runes, and the runes themselves look like they have something to do with alerting.
Okay.
Um,
What would can we dispel that or something?
That would be one way. Yeah.
Or
Do-
it's an Arcana check or something?
You can try to make an Arcana check, Abel. It's tough. You don't actually know the runes or anything. Go ahead and try to make an Arcana check though, because you're pretty good at this.
do they look
Guidance.
like the runes we saw in the sewers?
No, no, they don't. They look completely different.
It'll probably be a 30 something. Let's see what the guidance is.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 exactly.
Okay, so even though Abel doesn't even know the language of the runes or any of the thing, he's able to use the weave to figure out the way that the runes are set up is that you have to basically touch them in a certain order while like reaching out to the weave in order. It's basically a combination. And Abel, you sit there for like maybe 5 minutes, but you're such a genius at this point with figuring out how magic items work, and especially with the Modron's help, that you're actually able to put this together. Abel figures out this combination without going through it, so that's pretty good. What did you roll? What was your roll to get a 30
I
on the dice?
rolled. Oh, it's a natural 20 plus 8.
Oh, okay, there you
and
go. Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
the
So that's
guidance.
good. That makes sense. So that's good because I was gonna say this is next to impossible, but that's a god level roll. So okay, so yeah, Abel's able to figure this out. He basically has the combination to go through it and is able to figure it out. You can open this
All
without
right.
alerting anything.
I will have the defender open it, stand back, and then follow it through the door.
Okay. All right. So Abel does open the door, and this is what you see, Abel.
That's
You see,
awesome.
you see here. You can look around the rooms a little bit too. You don't see anyone yet, but as you can tell when you start looking through this area, you do notice that there's statue up here on this side of something. And then it looks like there's like rooms and stuff further down. So far, no one's there though.
So he's gonna give a half whisper over the shoulder. That's a statue, and
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these are statues that you need to make a religion check on, so anyone can try to make religion checks on these statues.
As we're walking, I'm just gonna tell my pseudo dragon to keep an eye out for anything it seems like I might not see.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Good thing. Yeah. So right now like poking out of your thing and it's looking for you very abruptly. It hates where you are, by the way. It's really scared, but it says it's going to do its best for you.
When the
we
artificer
got a
meets the
21
paladin,
and a couple 18s from.
Go ahead.
Abel's out religioning us.
Oh,
Out religion
What-
by the atheist.
yeah. This is just from. So what did you get, Abel?
A 21. He's got a
Okay.
theology degree, but he doesn't actually, have faith.
So it's yeah. So it's uh so you're going through and you're thinking about like what this is. You do remember that it is some kind of Drugar like god, um, and you start discussing it with brother and everyone else, and finally you guys are able to come to the conclusion that this is and actually give me 1 second too. I just want to make sure I'm not messing this up. Actually, give me 1 second.
It's Loth.
It's not Loth. Yeah, surprise, it's not Loth, but. Matter of fact, they hate Loth with a passion. But hold on 1 second though, 'cause this is a complicated setup here. Hold on. Let's see.
It's so nice to be back in a dungeon again. It's been too long.
Towns and people are confusing.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
overrated.
called Dungeons and Dragons, not towns and people. I can't believe they actually got a laugh. I didn't even laugh in my head at that.
I wonder if we can.
I've had one or two campaigns that get very stuck into never really touching the dungeons or dragons, and it really
Don't
does
touch the
help
dragon.
the game move forward.
Yeah, sorry guys, just bear with me. This is pretty important, and I want to make sure that this is right. Um,
I've also been playing a game lately that just towns and more towns.
Yep.
Also, none of the pieces of like Chardolin in the cliffside are like loose, right? That you can just wiggle out.
None of them are loose. No.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, they're still in there. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, I figured I'd ask.
I mean, Drugar don't seem like the type to just leave mineral lying around.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely interested. I don't want to devote the time and effort right now to dig out all the Chardolin.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all do, just, yeah, time.
Oh yeah.
In the back of his head, Abel's figuring out what he has to do to mine that to get it out.
So what are we thinking? We clear this out and we make this the next house we buy? Is this castle?
I mean, I've got to
Well,
pick
I
off.
did have a funny idea about this.
Yeah.
Well, if you look on the
Temple
map
Bomb.
from where the stronghold is, in location to where the mining area is, to give you an idea, scale of just how far this goes. Remember that contract we had with the mining company mining Chardolin?
I don't see the mining location.
It should be on the map, I think. I don't know if Chris ever put it on there.
No, I did. It's on there. It should
Oh,
be
it's
on
the
the map.
lasting location of the Duergar? Or...
No, that was their caravan, I thought. I thought that was just a raiding location.
Yes, but there was a mine on the map that we marked.
Oh, okay.
I'm not seeing it.
I haven't looked at it yet though, because I'm
It's
still.
between Lac Dinashir and Gangstar and Bryn Shandar.
So, you guys go into dungeons often, or
Yeah, we were in the Tomb of Annihilation trademark.
that sounds like a nasty place.
It's
You
pretty
have
cool.
no idea.
Nasty but cool.
Tomb of Horrors.
Yes.
There were
Hey, look,
evil
there's
versions of
Lucky.
us.
Yeah, it's actually
Oh.
where we met. That's where me, Abel, brother, and a few other people that aren't here, met Grin and
Okay.
Honorary.
All right. So I just wanted to make sure that this is very, very complicated. Sorry, guys. So the statue, so you guys go through and with an 18, you can tell that this is a statue of Deep Dura. As a matter of fact, every statue that you see in here is a statue of Deep Dura. Like a statuette of Deep Dura. Deep Dura is. Let me just see if I can get you a picture of this. So Deep Dura is a female god. It's the queen of the invisible art, or the axe princess of conquest. She's a goddess. Her specialty was like psionics, but Deep Dura and her clerics were basically like known beyond the surface of the Underdark. She's kind of like a rural in the sense that she's kind of on demigod level at this point. Uh, and she is, but she's known as like a god of like invisibility. She has invisibility arts, but she's also like a princess of conquest as well. But this is of Deep Dura.
Conquest.
I'm explaining to you how. See, that's not like really a god. Gods don't exist. That's just someone who has done some really cool things.
What do you mean gods don't exist? I've talked to so many.
Well, the power they get is from us. That we worship them.
I think you have
You've
that
got that
backwards.
power.
I mean,
No.
just to point out the absurdity of making a statue of a goddess of invisibility.
There's one over there too, and I point to a blank space in the hallway.
Yeah. I could. Unfortunately, there is no picture of her, but she's
Well,
yeah,
because she's invisible.
yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know. Are there any traps anywhere? Is the statue magical at all?
It doesn't appear to be. No. Not, I mean, you can make Arcana checks and everything, but nothing outwardly appears to be magic besides the door that Abel opened.
I'm gonna kind of keep moving towards doorways if I see them. Then.
Yep. The one thing that you do remember, Abel, and this is why it was important that I looked at the one thing you do remember with Deep Dura is that she does have she is like a patron of psionics,
Okay.
and there could be a tie between her psionic nature and maybe the Ithalids, because the Ithalids and Abelis also worshipped her.
I would explain that. Like, I mean, it makes sense that she'd be here with the flares and.
Yeah.
Oh, great. They're working together.
I mean, if you believe in that sort of power.
I mean,
So Abel, as you start walking around in here, you can get a much better picture of what's going on, and you're a little stumped because right now, as you can go through here and look, there is definitely more on this side, but this is kind of a dead end once you get up here. It looks like they started mining this part out and didn't. However, there is
Just
a
for the
large.
record, I am not walking anywhere my defender hasn't first.
Right, of course. Yeah, so I imagine your defender is definitely before you. And there is what looks like a large, maybe resource or acquisition chest here that's locked with a heavy padlock. Um, Other than that, though, there's nothing
I'll
else.
take a shot at it with my picks. I mean,
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
is that investigation? What are you using on that?
Investigation. Yep. Andre, do you want the pseudo dragon to scout to look for invisible things or no?
I don't want it to leave. It's currently in my coat. I don't want it
Okay.
to leave my side. But it's gonna be every
Sure.
once in a while popping out.
Okay. Where would you like to be, Andre, so we can see if the pseudo dragons see anything?
Henry, you could be right next to me. I'm gonna be behind Abel, who's behind the steel defender.
Okay, so over here, yep, and we will put you. Does everybody want to be in there too? Does everybody kind of want to be up in this area?
Yeah.
Right, in
Yeah.
the same room.
All right. There is a door here, so everyone can see that there is another door by the way, Abel. There's another door that you passed. Yeah.
I had a check of 23.
23. All right. Yeah. So you can open it. It's you're skilled enough that you can pick this lock. So let's do that real quick.
I'll unlock it and then have the defender open it.
Sure. Yep.
And I'll give it like 10 feet.
All right. So this is an entire. So these are all mining picks, but these mining picks, there's something going on. There's like 30 of them, but there's something going on with them. They're magic in some ways. This is probably to mine the Chardelin, you think to yourself, but there's 30 picks in here. Yeah.
Can I take one and
I,
my normal one?
You can pick one up if you want to. Yeah. So this is a pretty big box. This is actually taller than you, this box here. So you just need help to get it in there. But absolutely, you can take one out.
Yeah, I just
are
want to
they
like.
bigger than the box is just really tall?
No, the box is just really tall. It's as tall as you, Abel, as you can see. It's like it's as tall as your model. This is around 6 feet high. But yeah, you can reach in there, which is interesting, right? Because the Dugar are generally short, but then you remember that they can make themselves bigger. So
Yeah, I'll look at it. I'll notice how they're made. Do they have any runes on them? What
they do have
material?
so you pick one up. They do have runes on them, and that's why these are some kind of magical pickaxes, probably specifically made for mining Chardelin, although you're not sure, of course, until they're identified. But yeah.
I feel like I should just take these.
Now, okay, so here's the thing. There's 30 of them. If you want to take them, this has definitely got to be some kind of bag of holding thing because they're just clunky enough that you could only really, even when your packs, maybe get 2 of them, and even then it's like messing everything else up. So these are kind of a bag of holding thing.
I take one out and I'm like, we probably should take these. I think they're probably going to be pretty good for mining the Chardelin. I didn't cast anything, but it's probably magic. When we have time, we should check that out. And I'll take one and put it in the pouch.
And how many do we want to grab for the bag?
I could hang one on the outside of my pack.
Henri, as you were messing with that ring, by the way, you noticed that there were certain like as it is a puzzle ring, and you were able to like line up a piece of it, and one of the runes lines up with the same kind of runes that were on the dwarven doorway, and you just put that together. So so the runes on the doorway are the same runes when you put them together on your puzzle ring. Now the runes on your puzzle ring are completely obscured to you because there's 3 lines on your puzzle ring. The way the puzzle ring works is there's literally 3 lines, and you have to keep like winding it to match up to even make a rune itself. So it's mostly gibberish until you go through this. But as you were going through that, you were able to make like a couple of the runes, and then you recognized them when you came in.
Okay.
So
What puzzle ring was this?
The Ring of Winter, the one that Evil Grin won.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's what I texted Chris about in the middle of the traveling, is that I was messing with the ring.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
All right.
So yeah, I'll hang one of the magical picks just on the outside of my pack if I can find like a spare loop or something.
You can. You totally can. That's the best way to handle these. But again, they're clunky. These are
I'll take
definitely.
one at a time and pass them back through the line. And when people stop taking them, I'll put the rest in the pouch.
Okay. All right. All right. Is everyone going to take one, or how many are going to be in the pouch? I guess.
I mean, how many do we really need?
Probably not a ton, but we could sell them too.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm more or less just taking one to replace my normal pick.
Yep.
So I'll say one per person to keep in individual inventory, and then the rest go in the pouch.
I don't know
Yeah,
that
sure.
Henri would really care about having one because it's not as though she can really use tools well.
And do you guys just want to,
Okay.
just instead of keeping one on the outside of our packs, just put 10 in the bag and call it a day?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll put 10 of those picks into the bag of holding.
Okay.
I will
Yep.
hold the one just since, like I said, I'm replacing. I'm putting my normal one back into the bin.
They're
Okay.
gonna be
you
real
have-
confused when they
yeah.
get a mundane
I-
I
pick.
will say
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
sort of Kane's able not to take them. So, like, if we have time on the way back, it's definitely something on his mind to come back here.
Okay. Yep. All right. All right. All right. So, where would you guys like to go? There's a door still here that we haven't dealt with. There's another door here. And then
All right.
and then there's that hallway down there, but there's also this. So as you walked as you were walking through, you didn't notice it with your passive perceptions, but this does look like it could end up being another kind of door as well. You're not exactly sure. There's a small seam, and it doesn't look like it's just a wall here.
All right. So, did I notice that before I went to look at the door?
No, this is the first time you've. Oh, sorry. When you went to go look at the door here, you did notice it, but this is the very first time. So,
Okay.
when the stream catches up, though, we'll close this here. There's another
So
door here, and then there's a door opposite that as well. Maybe.
I'll move to the next most obvious door and inspect it and
Yep.
see if I can.
This one seems to be unlocked.
Okay.
Do you want to open it?
I'll instruct the defender to open it.
Okay. All right. As you open this one, there is what looks like. So you can look in here, and it looks like it's some kind of storeroom. And there's a chest. And maybe some kind of workbench. So
All right. Yeah, at this point, I'm going to cast the detect magic. It just
sure.
out of memory.
Okay.
And
So the chest lights up. The chest
Mhm.
does light up, but that's the only thing that lights up in the room.
Okay, I'm going to point out and kind of turn, looking around. Just okay. The chest is probably magic. Step back out and then go around the room and
Yep.
quickly back up to the old desk and the Chardolin. Just to
All
scan.
right. So surprisingly, every single one of the statues have a very faint but visible glow of magic.
Okay.
But that's the only and the axes, of course, glow and pop up, but that's it.
Okay. I'll mention that as I see it, just kind of stream of consciousness, so everybody's aware of what I saw.
Sure.
And then I will go back and study the chest.
All right.
Chris, I'm gonna stand in front of the two big double doors, and I'm gonna cast Divine Sense.
Okay. Yep.
Fiends, Celestials, Undead, Consecrated, Desecrated.
All right. So you pass off Divine Sense, and uh, there are you detect fiends. There are fiends below you.
Uh-oh. There's
You,
fiends
you don't
below us.
you don't exactly know where, but there are multiple fiends, many fiends below you.
There's many, many fiends below us. Oh my god.
Yep.
So many fiends.
So many fiends.
They do be
Um,
fiending.
I
Now,
I had
now,
a 19
as the Divine
perception.
Sense goes off, and as you've been there for a couple seconds, this has never happened before, but you get a very distinct, like, feedback. The statues all have feedback in them. So they're not fiends, but they have some kind of fiendish aura in them that you are able to sense with Divine Sense. Every single statue.
Oh no. I let everyone know that,
Yep.
especially brother.
Yep.
Did I notice any infernal written anywhere? Just because I
Not yet. No infernal yet. No infernal yet. But this is a
Yet
good
is scary.
place though. This is a good place to stop. So it's 11. This is a good place where we'll stop and then we'll get into it. I do not know how many sessions this is going to be, guys, but I built this. It's massive. This thing
okay.
is absolutely massive. So this could be a couple sessions. We'll see.
Hey, I'm not complaining.
But yeah. So Yeah, we'll start right where we left off. And Gage, are you still here?
Is not.
He's long
No,
gone.
he's long gone.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right. Do you want the rolls that I had for the chest, or save it till next time?
Oh yeah, let's do the rolls for the chest real quick. Let's resolve that real quick.
It was a 19 perception and a 14 investigation.
Okay. It doesn't appear trapped. Perception wise, it does look slightly unnatural. There are glyphs that go through the chest. It looks unlocked, but doesn't appear to be trapped or whatever, and you're not sure how this magic works.
Okay. I would be interested in opening it, but if we're stopping, we're stopping. So yeah.
Okay. We'll pick that up where next session though. So you open the chest and then we'll go from there.
Cool.
Yep. All right, cool.
Oh, that
Fantastic,
went really
guys.
well. Yeah.
Once again, thank you for having me. That was very enjoyable to be part of.
See, we can like have fun in this group.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
possible.
We're back in our element.
Yes, this is our favorite terrain.
Oh
Back in
god.
the Doom Gen.
Vin joining back in next week is going to be interesting.
Well,
No,
that's
he
why I
doesn't know
said
where
it's
he went.
better. It's also better, exactly. It's also way better at this point that he starts a new character anyway, as you can see. That's what I was trying to say. If you guys did choose this area, like Vin can't get in, obviously. So anyway, so there's no way for Vin to catch up at this point. So he's pretty much got to create a new character. So
Damn it, we should have kept the ring. Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah, can we hunt Vin down and steal the ring from him?
He does know a ton of information. Like in character, I would be terrified that he just dipped because wasn't the whole conversation last time like if we give you back the ring, you stay with us.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
Yeah, I mean that would put him on Grin's shit list if he
That
just
yeah.
ditches us.
yeah.
I mean that would be beyond shitless. That's like kill on sight.
Well, yeah, that is Grin's shit list.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll talk to him, but we'll try to resolve that. So, but yeah, that's the thing. We'll have like I said. I mean, that's what I mean. I can use that character anyway, so it's good. It's all good. So
I mean, I can
Well,
always send a
that's
message to
ominous.
Macretus to collect them on site.
And yeah.
yeah,
And
Oh.
message that guy from the Arcane Brotherhood and told him he stole his focus.
yeah, yeah.
Don't
there's
I
definitely
still have that?
No, it's in the bag of holding.
Okay.
Unscribable.